So here we go again,
Stream?
everybody. Division
Hold on,
2.
the stream. Is the stream on?
Yeah. The
Okay,
stream
okay.
is
Oh
up,
yeah, now it is.
and we
Awesome.
are back online. And we have Scuff versus Roy's Me, game number 1 in a best of 3 here once more. Another quarterfinals, as we have Milan 2s coming around already here with one of my favorite divisions of all time, Golden Command, on the left side. And then Roy's Me bringing once more a game of 24 for today. So yeah, the classic modern Soviet div coming around there. And yeah, guys, if you want to support the tournament, check out matcherino and see what is going on around there. Yeah, much appreciated all the support that you guys already gave. Feta, Cheesh, Red Dust, Benedim, Martin, Jagdpanzer, and so on. Like, this might be the season with the most contributors already, and that is much appreciated. We had higher prize pools, but that was mostly due to single individual people going insanely far with contributions. But it's super appreciated how many direct contributions we already get. It's amazing to see the community coming together and getting the prize pool here to really pay off the amazing players in Division 1 and by now Division 2 for their amazing games, as Division 2 is playing for $25 prize pool now as well. And yeah, obviously for getting into Division 1 for next season. So whoever wins here will get there. Also, guys, if you want to see amazing content, check out Florite's channel if you haven't followed yet.
Yeah, and now that we are getting into the game here, so you were surprised that Berlin Command was getting played. Why is this? Because Berlin Command has very strong infantry opener, has a pretty decent tank depth, though not one of the best, and has excellent variety of ATGMs, and so it can actually fight against the heavy divisions. It's got a bunch of affordable stuff in that can balance out and be more efficient than than expensive units, and it also has a very strong LGB bomber. Of course, Berlin Command lacks conventional air defense and has to rely on Harriers and manpads. So, is that really the reason why you were surprised that
Yeah,
to see
against
Berlin?
in ranked, it currently is a really big gamble. Like, it can't defend itself against any high flying bomber at the moment, especially after the pivot nerf. In the current state, that is an issue. But yeah, against 27th, which doesn't have the strongest bombers, it actually is a decent division for sure. It has a fantastic infantry tab. I love this division. It has decent amount of armor as well. It doesn't have any IFVs really, which I wish they would make the Varden shitbox better. But currently for 40 points, you can't really take that. So you have to rely on your infantry and your tanks and your Nighthawks. But they are good for sure. 27th, though, the more standard, the more solid division here. The FOB, the forward apply point here, the FSP, is an interesting deviation from the normal strategies at the moment. But on 2 legs, we see it relatively commonly, relatively often taken, because it just allows your Grats and so on to constantly artillery spam on this map. And this is a great artillery spam map. So yeah, we will see what the game plan is here for both sides as the game progresses. What do you think about the deployment so far?
So far, I think we're seeing on the Berlin command side, we're seeing a reasonably aggressive going into Zulu immediately with the Posse, followed up by a bunch of sappers and engineers. So good, efficient, close range fighting infantry, and supported with a wide variety of both snipers and Milan twos. On the other side, on Oscar, we're seeing absolutely nothing from Woe Is Me with a single special forces squad taking it. So we are going with the decisive battle meta, in which players concentrate heavily on the more important areas and try to win the game straight up there, not even taking the risk of having less troops by investing into Oscar. And on the other side, for Woe Is Me, it should be made. It's defensive, but it should maybe be even just a little bit more defensive. Deploying on the right side of the and yes, on the right side of of the town is the right choice. You don't want to face down the PSSEB, the Physical Security Support Element dash Berlin, the Special Forces False Flag units, and they have both satchel charges and AT4 as well as MP5s, the best infantry weapons. So any kind of direct engagement with these guys is gonna be a loss. So I think taking a wide berth and trying to concave around Zulu would probably be the most efficient way for Woe Is Me, and not going directly into the town, but also not defending the town in any way can if you don't control that properly, that can be an immediate massive loss here. And the Mi-24K helicopter is going out there very confidently, knowing that there's barely any enemy aircraft out here. And if the helicopter is able to take out the Posse B here, that would be just taking one of those out would be a massive, massive win for Woe Is Me.
Yeah, forcing
Harrier
them
coming up.
to deploy more defensively for now at least. But yeah, the Harrier coming in. Quick land there though between the houses. Mi-24K just enjoying the playground there for a second. Really good micro by Woe Is Me, and lots Alouettes getting shut down. The CBs being forced to unload a bit earlier, and the Harrier still flying around. So the infantry of Woe Is Me will get into the town. The Harrier keeps on doing damage, killing off the Mistral there actually, as it came a bit too close, and that is a pretty tough situation here now for Scuff's push, with the Hind still around, still absolutely active, and murdering units on the ground here.
Yeah, the Hind here, massive victory. Not the dodging the Harrier coming out for another pass here. I think against the Hind. Hind being able to firing half of its gun ammo already, or with one of the guns here. Just massive defense, getting finally hit by the Mistral, but up north, this push by Scuff is gonna get flanked by the Rasvika BMP2 and the Motostrelki. Nighthawk going out there and actually removing the Rasvetka BMP2 from the game so far, and buying a lot of time actually for Scuff to reinforce this. But yeah, this is the defensive units of the Humvee toes, the snipers, not being able to support this in any way. I was wrong. The going to the town and winning this was an option as long as the Hind survived. Amazing odds actually. Excellent micro and good odds.
Yeah, Nighthawk even might be found on the way out here. Takes a missile. MiG-23 cannot find the kill on the way out. That would be big. Nighthawk will make it out alive, but it will be super damaged. So the repair time here are really long, and yet the fight in the north, Milan's being taken out by the BMP2s together with the Hind, and that Mi-24K, just an absolute MVP here. The whole deployment of Scuff is completely scuffed, and yeah, that is going to be a hard way to come back into this game now. That opener was supposed to at least do decent damage, and it didn't do much at all. So this is going to be really problematic from here on out.
Yeah, did you know, by the way, that scuff is Russian internet slang for balding middle-aged men who sit their whole lives in front of computers?
No, I didn't, but
Yeah, I
today I
actually
learned.
had it from the chatter. But yeah, so the push from Woe Is Me is we're seeing the American emo versus the Russian emo here. American Woe Is Me is pushing with the Hind, Hide at 1 HP, getting killed by the Milan 2's 50 caliber rifle, but the BTRs have managed to get themselves under the minimum range of these. Oh, the Dragon one hits and actually routes the Milan with the BTRs are being used here to drive under the minimum range of the ATGMs. Massive free damage getting done. And meanwhile, all of Woe Is Me's troops are moving on foot to take these new positions, and not like the IP Abrams here needs to be able to stay safe and needs to be able to do a lot of damage. Abrams have more HE damage than most main battle tanks, considering Abrams have both a 50 cal machine gun and 2 medium machine guns. And Abrams also have good armor and mobility, so they are capable of fighting against infantry pretty well. But there are Su-17 AT planes and a lot of good ATGMs that can counter the Abrams.
Mistral splitting a shot there, hitting both MiG-23s actually, but not getting the kill. If they would have focused fired, they could have gotten one shot down there. Whilst we have a new helicopter coming in as well. MiG-23 is actually strafing down the Mistrals now. One of them paying for that dearly, but they tried to get the Hind on the way in. This might be a bit of an overextension with the airplay here. Hind goes down as well. The Mistral's doing fantastic there, really defending their position as the MVP and the best manpad in the game, allowing the M1IP now to go around a bit more, but the BMP2 here on the hunt from the side here, trying to find the Mistral, and yeah, losing those is frustrating and expensive. M1IP gets hit by an ATGM, so it needs to get the hell out of there, and every single unit lost here for SCAF is taking away the combined arms again, which they tried to set up here. So yeah, now AA has to be replenished again and so on, whilst WARNO has a bit more room for maneuver. Yes, they shouldn't take too many losses here, and it was an expensive push in, but they had so much leeway from that early fight going so well that they can afford taking a bit of losses here or taking some ground.
Yeah, the Abrams has been pushed into a defensive long-range firing position, so it can do damage, but it's firing against very fortified troops, so it's inefficient damage. Conqueror's M going into the tower, where the Conqueror's M will be able to engage the Abrams pretty easily, as well, especially with Spetsnaz taking the position. The Skladznabzenia in the background actually not being used. The game is going so well for Woe Is Me that even 7 minutes in, not investing into any artillery so far, and not actually even buying a lot of supply, just trying to keep going with the advantage that they gained from beating the Posse opener.
Yeah. We have now some helicopters and some Mistrals and pivots coming up again behind of Woe Is Me together with the Conqueror's M, pushing back the M1IP here. The CV BTR is on the way. The first CV did die, so that was a nice victory here for SCAF, at least stopping the tick for now, and might be able to clean up a bit here, as the lack of AA is a bit frustrating for Woe Is Me, as that might allow the Gazelle rockets to actually do a good amount of damage. Saperi's currently on the menu, going down there, and yeah, the ATGMs trying their best, but this is actually going to start to look decent-ish again for SCAF, like a game that can be actually played. Like, yeah, the losses in the early game were grim, but they did get some important kills here lately. Conqueror's M
Yeah,
is added to that
Nighthawk
list.
removing the Conqueror's M is a big deal here. This means that there is nothing that can penetrate front armor of the Abrams, and it's going to take some time for anything to reach there, because the reinforcement route is like 4 or 5 times longer for Woe Is Me. So any losses that are taken in here are take 5 times longer to kind of, what do you say, rebuild themselves.
The grind fights can.
Yeah, and we also at the same time have the BTR 80 going down, so there won't be any points here gained for Woe Is Me. And if those couple of infantry units remaining right now get overwhelmed, there's nothing between that and Zulu. Like, even the Hind going down to the Sniper in the rear. Sniper surprisingly effective against helicopters once they have their extra damage bonus, because they stun them down so quickly and then deal okay damage with each shot. So the damaged Hind got killed off by that sniper team, and this is actually starting to be a bit risky here for Woe. Woe has to fall back to a more defensive position here, really overextending a bit too much in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if the idea would have been to push to the suburban area on, and maybe just try to take the single tower, the single corner, and then hold those positions until tanks arrived. With 2 tanks, some BMPs, maybe this engagement could have gone completely differently. But with the IP Abrams reliably being able to hold this front, the all the rest of the units can basically move freely, and anytime they spot something, the IP Abrams can just come and engage, or alternatively, the Gazelles come and engage.
Oh, and another Hind getting absolutely murdered here. Pivot getting in there with its rotational, super quick firing Vulcan gun, and the MX-30s and Mistrals here now pushing forward as well in the north, and there's really little left here for Woesme. This is absolutely worrying. Like, that game had a really pendulum swing from one side to another in the last couple of minutes, and this push just really didn't work out. Great crisis management by Scaff. Did a lot with really little after messing up that early push, and now is back in the way towards Zulu, and still in the lead with 100 points. So this is in an okay spot here for sure.
Though Motostrelki Metis and BTR-80s with T-80 BVs are a very strong combo in defense, and we should not forget that there is an actual FSP forward supply point back in the back here. So further we go in the game, the more the supply advantage will start showing. The tanks, the T-80s, have 11 max HP, which means that they can and should be repaired often. So especially because they are there are no A1 Abrams, so the T-80s actually have the better guns. But even then, the supply advantage will start showing when it comes to tanks, when it comes to artillery, and I believe both tanks and artillery are probably where Woe Is Me is going here. Investing too much into infantry against something like Berlin Command, which has an excellent infantry tab, can just be a bad investment. With two T-80s here and the IP Abrams actually on low cohesion and on no veterancy, this the tank fights, I think, will be able to balance this for Woe Is Me.
The issue is there's no AA on the battlefield right now, so the MiG-23s are the only thing saving you from Nighthawks. And if they are not in the right spot, then the Nighthawk comes around, gets 2 kills, and you're devastated here. Like, if the Nighthawks get some kills onto these juicy T-80 BVs, the game might go completely south real quick. Another Nighthawk on the way in right now here. And if that can find some kills here, that would be big. A MiG-23 at least is still rotating around in the rear. Might try to find a kill. Okay, comes around over the sea here, and the Nighthawk goes immediately down. Important kill, super important kill there by the MiG-23. Fantastic shutdown. Harrier coming around trying to get revenge. Actually finds a good hit with the first missile, and the MiG-23 will fly home over the Mistrals, so most likely gonna get a revenge kill here on this MiG-23. Stinger, Mistrals, pivots, all engaging, and yeah, there we go. MiG-23 bites the dust as well, but important kill there on one of 2 Nighthawks. Those being killed is the easiest way to allow your T-80BV to roll forward.
Yeah, the slow reinforcements are being made possible by the fact that Scuff is also building, but Scuff is building for an attack, whereas Woe Is Me is building for defense, so this is in Woe Is Me's advantage so far. Technically, this is because of the 100-point difference, this is a defensive game for Scuff, and it could be the Scuff actually bringing out the second Nighthawk immediately. But Woe Is Me smartly putting their tanks way further than the engagement line, letting the infantry do the spotting and then bringing out the tanks later, even though the T-80s are not the fastest tanks with only 63 kph.
Yeah, Motorcycle Medis trying to hold the line. And yeah, ATGMs coming around from the toes. Nighthawks number 2 is around on the battlefield again. There is some Strela 10 M3 AA now, but they actually don't spot this, I believe. Like, if they start to see it, they can kill it, but the Nighthawk without radar AA is really hard to spot. Opens its bomb bay now, coming around for kill here onto one of the T-80BVs, drops its bomb. That T-80BV is gone. And yeah, the Nighthawk just flying through the air. Strela 10 M3 actually even getting killed off there. So another T-80BV can be just bombed into smithereens, and this is a massive, massive issue. Bomb bay opening again. Bomb number 2 flying onto a BMP-3. And the Nighthawk the Stalker getting another kill here. Super valuable kills for this super important plane in Berlin Command.
SU-17 also on the board. SU-17 will be able to pick out the Abrams anytime the Abrams tries to push, and is actually trying to do that right now, engaging another Abrams, missing with both of the KH-29 missiles. But it seems like the engagement is going to start happening now with sapper and engineers are getting into the town, and these without proper support, I think these are kind of this is a bad idea, I think, because the BTRs can drive next to them. They don't have any close range AT weapons. The Dragon ones have minimum range, and the Sappors they only have flamers. So the BTRs, as long as they engage without having the Abrams fire into the town, the BTRs will be able to take this for free.
Yeah. So, and the TADBVK trying to push forward a bit, trying to get some damage. The Nighthawk will be around soon again. The reload time on these things surprisingly low. For sure, one thing that Eugen should change in the future, increasing the reload time of guided bombs. But they, without taking damage, will be around pretty soon. We see finally some grad action here now, using the supply point, but it's still far from actually doing anything crucial. It's still the slight lead here for Scuff, and Scuff still trying to get deeper in here, but as you pointed out, that infantry push at least getting repelled, and the TDBV starting to get a bit of value here in the north as well once more.
Yeah, the TBVs as well as the BMPs, as long as enemy infantry gets spotted or enemy tanks even at this point, the tank blobs will be able to push them away. I think this might actually be an actual commitment towards the defense from the side of Scuff. As long as the offensive veneer is kept up here, that means that Woe Is Me can't pivot to Oscar, even though I think pivoting to Oscar with some small amount of maybe Saperi RPO or something could actually be a very good usage of points at this point.
Yeah, the kill on the BMP3 against the VAB Milan, another good trade for Scuff. It has BMP3's reinforcements coming in the rear. We see Nonas being brought in, but they're firing from such a long distance that they're not going to really be accurate and efficient there. Grud just barely not getting the kill onto the M109 of Scuff there as well, so failing at its mission too. And yeah, it's a slow, long game, and that is the good thing for Woe Is Me. Outside of that, I feel like Scuff is still the one in the driver seat here that will decide the aggression and the engagement pattern in over the next couple of minutes here. Ural getting sniped in the north by the Hellarm. Hellarm also, yeah, ADBVK getting damaged by the M109s, and having those artillery pieces is really nice for a division that is more infantry focused, but like, yeah, that's one of the big advantages that it has above divisions like the airborne ones that just don't have any self-propelled howitzer, and those M109s is really doing a good job here for Berlin Command so far.
Actually, using the 107 millimeter mortars to fire at the positions and not to do smoke, but a lot of infantry is being a lot of good, efficient 45-point engineer dragons are being brought out here, and so yeah, I do think Scuff is actually going to go for a push now, probably around the 20-minute point.
Yeah, more Berlin rifles coming in. Those are fantastic infantry units as well. 10 hit points, 2 light support weapons, and a lower 80. Plus shock trade, all of that for only 65 points. It's one of the best infantry squads in the game currently in my eyes. And yeah, they are going to come in here for some damage. You can't push anywhere close with TADBVs to them, as that lower 80 will shred you to pieces. And the M19 still hunting for the TADBV case as well. Getting a bit of damage in there, stunning it down, pushing it back, will make the tanks of Scuff have an easier time trying to fire support for the infantry. And Woe Is Me desperately trying to fortify this position here now.
Yeah, there's, I mean, more AMX-30Bs, and finally, Oscar, 20 minutes in, Oscar gets some reinforcements. This is how dedicated people are to keep fighting in the decisive battle meta, at least on this map. But personally, when I'm playing this map, I really like sending just singular infantry squads in because so much of the time there is just nothing out there, and
Yeah,
it's a huge problem if you get there.
we see the Nonna now trying to snipe more of the units of Scab on the front line, and 109 trying to retaliate onto some infantry as well. And max 30s there moving forward, though there is still the BMP3s. They are in really good spots here by Woes Me. And yeah, the fight does continue to grind on here. And we might have really a 40-minute game ahead of us. The question is really, will there be any more ticks here? As currently, it's an absolute stale game. And yeah, the setup seems to be around somewhat for the Berlin command, but by now the reinforcements on the other side have arrived in good numbers as well. We have 3 T80BVs, we have 4 BMPs around on the battlefield as well. One of them going down now, that's a nice kill, but still nothing that allows you to just easily push over the rest here.
Yeah, I think once again, as always, I think the concave is the way to go here. I think Woe is Me should try to push the northern and southern parts of the town and try to get good engagement positions at long range, because that is where the strength is. As long as the fight is being fought inside the town, that is the better position for Scuff. And though with the second grad now out, I think any kind of massed pushes with infantry are going to be countered pretty efficiently with the grads.
Yeah, they're currently trying to get for the M1 IP, which starts moving now though. So it actually might get missed. BMPs and TADBVs moving around. The Nighthawk not coming around anytime lately is pretty surprising to me. Maybe it is because no TADBVs were really spotted and it's reserved for just dealing with those guys. But yeah, not using that tool here lately is for sure an interesting choice by Scuff, as the Nighthawk should be absolutely reloaded by now.
Yeah, the are there any other routes? No, where I think we just two sorts of mech formations for Woe is Me, consisting of BMP3s and T80s. As long as the Spetsnazvedka can do the spotting, I think that's the way to go here. It's a standard, but the standard is very good.
Yeah,
the enemy
Grud's coming in with some great damage here as well, killing off the Milan and the sniper. So the Grud's really starting to be the long-term damage dealers that they're supposed to be. Now trying to actually counter battery the mortars there a bit. Those are self-propelled mortars though, so with only the remaining rockets, it shouldn't be a kill here. And yeah, Grud coming in against the mortars, trying to do some damage. Will get the kill there on one of them at least, but Motorstrike is going down on the other side.
The single Motostrelki that's pushed the buildings in the southwest of the town, that they've had a massive tactical effect. Where now that the BMP3 has out, side-shotting the leader Abrams, massive hit. Massive hit. That is why you want to have a concave formation when engaging the enemy.
Ooh.
Another Abrams gets hit also.
SU-17 trying to come around. The leader BMP M1 is still there. AMX-30 goes down to the T80BV. Yeah, south got reinforced here, but the push in the north still gets scuffed the point here, as there's no CV in here right now. MiG-27HE coming around, trying to deal with the infantry, actually doing a massive run there. But the M1 IP still alive. The BMP-3 went down to some AT weapons. The T80BV goes down as well, and yeah, good hits, but it seems like Scuff is still working out. So the bombing drops were all great and on, but Scuff has the +2, goes up further, and is now in a really decent point lead with 150 points, though the TDBVK finally arriving here to stop the take for now. And yeah, Scuff paid for it with a decent amount of units at the same time.
Yeah, and the positions, I think I think this is might be all Abrams on board. We're not seeing any chieftains, and that's probably for the best because chieftains. But so far the 4 nonas, the 2 grads, the longer this keeps going on, as long as Woe is Me controls this well, I think they're just the supply advantage and the fact that they just have more stuff that can do damage in these late game fights, and the advantage of being able to get good infantry into the town is kind of negated by the fact that your opponent has like million nonas and BMP3s.
Yeah, we see Harriers and the Nighthawk coming around again. If the Nighthawk can do the damage again, this could swing this whole thing around. Let's see. We have some TADBVs being targetable. First bomb does drop from the Nighthawk. Finds one of the TADBVs. Massive hit here once more. And the Nighthawk now goes home. Doesn't want to risk it to stay around. No other super valuable target is around, and Nighthawk, yeah, with another super important kill here, stops the counter push potential from Woe Is Me, whilst actual infantry here running in here with Grenadier Voltigeurs just straight into the point. A bit ballsy, and maybe not the greatest choice, but at least will buy a bit more time here once more. Gruts coming out. Okay, absolutely annihilating one of the Grenadier Voltigeurs there. Being ready for that push immediately. So the push of Scuff most likely not gonna gain any more ground here, but it at least will stop the counter push from
Yeah,
happening.
the grads have been used in sort of the baby grad way, where you fire both of them, but only with around 10 rockets from each of them. So you can have this very quick, very decisive 20 rocket hit, and you can do it multiple times because you don't have to reload in between each other.
Yes, Spencer Redka trying to get the Grenadier Voltigeurs here. BMP2 AG potentially trying to get involved as well, as we have more and more reinforcements here flooding in for Scuff. We see the MX-30s, we see some M1s. The M109's actually doing a pretty decent job throughout the game, trying to counter battery some nonas and so on, and we have a good amount of nonas on this battlefield. Woe Is Me is really heavy on artillery, and there's still 12 minutes remaining for them to do some damage, but this artillery park needs to do some real damage here to allow breakthrough at this point, as the TADBV number is low, the BMP number is pretty low, and we have a good amount of tanks on the other side to just be frustrating, annoying, and stop anything trying to go through there in the push.
I think the critical oh, there are actually chieftains. Chieftain Mark 10 is out here in down south, but I'm sorry, there's a fly. I'm trying to kill the fly without it making too much noise for the microphone. But yeah, I think we are approaching some amount of critical mass. I think these pushes by Scuff can easily lead into becoming overextensions, and with these Abrams and I think if the Nighthawk is lost and then combined with maybe like losing an Abrams, I think the momentum can shift really fast here.
Yeah, BMP3 goes down to the Nighthawk. Nighthawk scavenging around once more in the skies. No AA really there to stop the Motostraki going down as well, and we actually have the M1IP pushing into the zone, capturing again. KDBVKs are around to try to retake the whole situation as the Nighthawk goes back home, so they will stop the tick soon again, but it's just more advantage here for Scuff, so that push is still a problem. BMP2 is going down, AMX-30 will pay for it most likely, but it's still a really comfortable position here for Scuff going towards the last 10 minutes of the game, where Woe Is Me really needs to start to get some damage in. The Nonas constantly firing here. Oh, getting the M1IP here most likely. That is big.
Oh, that's a big deal. Yeah.
That is a really nice kill. And we have a big air fleet here now. For woe is me as well. MiG-27 HE. 2 of them. And 1 Su-17 AT. So, yeah, the push is going to come soon. Su-17 actually going for the stingers. Running it down with the double 30mm. But going really low on the way out there. And yeah, where do the MiG-27 goes? First bomb drop coming around. Will find the National Guard, but will go down for it. That's not a worthwhile trade, and yeah, the ground force is still a bit lacking. TADBVK haven't retaken the town. That's a miss micro there, I believe, and it's now over 300 point advantage for our player in blue.
Yeah, and so far, I think the critical mass is real, but like it is possible to have the critical mass, but also engaging here. This is a very wide front, even with the Milan twos on down south. Any kind of an engagement that the tanks are going to take from Woe is Me's side are going to get into pretty bad positions. And even though all of the NATO tanks here are zero vet, the on defense, the veterancy that matters less. On defense, especially if you guys are in cover and they can't be immediately shot at, which is where you want to have your chieftains, because the chieftains are very slow. And like if you can if you like even going head on against this defense of Scuff, I think that's yeah, with the air power taking out these T-80s, I think the Woe is Me has been justifiably scared of the Nighthawk, and not taking it out has just completely immobilized this tank force.
Yeah, Nighthawk coming around once more, killing another BMP-2 here. Artillery coming around against the AMX-30s and the pivots. And yeah, that artillery park really is the way to try to equalize the scoreboard here. But yeah, losing the MiG-23s for some stupid strafing runs right now really backfires here right now. Like, those strafing runs against Mistrals should not have been done. And then the MiG-23s could have been around now for the Nighthawks and keep the skies clean, make it all easier. But that push to the wire, that Rommel-esque overextension really did cost Woe is Me here. And now the artillery has to salvage the situation. It tries its best, it starts to get some real kills here. And we see the TADBs now pushing forward again. Point is recaptured, and there is 4 TADBVs around. Actually 5 even, with 2 CVs, so the enemy tanks being relatively reduced in strength here might allow for some real plays. Some more units going down to the MiG-27, which fly around over the next stinger though. Survived there. So the push is real. Gruts coming in against the chieftains and the Berlin light rifles, but it's still a far way to push here for the last 7 minutes, and the Harrier HE might be devastating. Good damage, actually no kill though. It's only a Harrier with 2 bombs, actually, and not one with the heavy payload. So the
yeah. With 7 minutes to late, 7 minutes left, and for 350 points, you can actually get those. And now we need to see a wide front attack here. Otherwise, the tanks are going to be side shot pretty hard. The one Abrams up close here is significant. Is very low. The Hell Arms are doing good damage, and they actually routed one of the T-80 command tanks. But when there is only so much time to wait for the grads to start reloading again, but even then, this like how many points? Like, you get 40 ticks per 1 minute, so 6 times 4 for 6 minutes, 5 minutes. I think it's gonna be pretty tight, especially if I think. Wait, no, because the 2.0.
Nighthawk coming in, Nighthawk getting a kill on TADBVK. Oh, this is massive. Now it's only 1 leader tank remaining. Nighthawk not staying around for the second one, actually reloading one more time. Might be able to get back in here. Yeah, that kill on the TADBVK is really, really big. Not just for the CV kill, but also for an important tank kill. As the M1 Abrams here now running on to 3 versus 1 against the TADBV in the south. Artillery trying to help out. but not able to really stop this from happening. And the TDBV is lucky so far with the M1's missing, but it won't be able to break through. Gets another hit in here, and we are down to only 3 TADBs, all of them stressed and damaged. And the Grut's not able to fire for the next 1.5 minutes, so this push is still not happening, and it needs a capture here right now. Yeah, with 160 points per minute, it only needs a 2-minute something tick with the rear zone fully captured, but that first has to happen, and the Harriers try to stop that from happening. TADBVK super low, TADBV goes down, and yeah, it's next to impossible by now to get that push through. Really strong play here defensively by Scuff after that early game problems, and the tick just good enough here. A classic, like a really classic two legs game. A bit boring for parts of it because nothing really happened because both sides just sat in front of each other. But intense actions at the beginning, intense actions here in the end, and it seems like we will see Scuff going ahead here with game number 1 as the TDBVK still falling back, and it's down to 4 minutes here by now.
Yeah, I think the on defense, the numbers, his chieftains here in the back line, and some pretty nice defense in depth means that any time the Woe is Me's troops move out from the
Oh,
zones,
Nighthawk
they're
coming
going to
in.
meet
Nighthawk
you.
coming in. Nighthawk most likely finding the kill here on the TADBVK. Yes, it does. And that's it is. That it is. And like, there's no CV on the battlefield. There is nothing to capture this point. Even if you buy it now, it won't reach the front line fast enough. Nighthawk coming around with another bomb, getting another double kill on infantry. Nighthawk's winning the game here. And that's really showing the issue of the MiG-23 play. Like, you can't afford to throw away your air superiority fighters against Berlin command like this. The Nighthawks will punish you, and they absolutely did in this game, getting scuffed the W here in the end.
Yeah, Scuff rank 4 currently. Obviously, even though the early game, the MI24K completely won the start of the game for Woe is Me, Scuff managed to play correctly. Not a lot of luck involved there. I think not a lot of incredible repeated misses of AA weapons towards the Nighthawk. Not anything like that. Just good fundamentals, just good reliance, understanding the position in which your opponent is, and then exploiting this situation. And the Woe is Me trying to build up the mech blob for all throughout the game, and just never managing to do that. Meanwhile, all of these weaker units, these weaker tanks, were put to in such positions that any kind of a push was always having gonna have to grind through a lot of different NATO tanks and NATO units, and at the same time the LGB bomber could just keep on visiting and taking out the key command tanks. And so this position was really bad for Woe is Me at the end. I think more flexibility there could have maybe done it. Maybe a more aggressive behavior with Oscar could have easily gotten some 300 points there, but just staying in the decisive battle, thinking, well, I have the better units, well, I have the better deck, I have the stuff that is designed to win these positions. That's not always going to happen if your opponent has good enough fundamentals.
Yeah, and really well played game here by both sides early on. And Scuff getting out there though with the W was me on the line now. And yeah, we will go into a short break, guys. Then we will be back with game number 2. And just need a quick restroom break here, and then we will be back in with the second game in this series. Here we go. Game number 2. Scuff up 1-0 in this best of 3 here between Woes Me and Scuff, and we have an interesting matchup here on Vertigo. We have two divisions that are quite surprising on this map in my eyes. Like 8th is okay, but usually you want to have something with some heavier tanks, though Woe Is Me is thinking differently and brings around 4th with another Feldepon on the left, so it's not even a super aggressive 4th with a lot of Vulture Makers. It's like there is a lot of Vulture Makers, but it's not the all-in one. It's seemingly trying to transition into artillery spam or something like it, or helicopter spam with a lot of reload. Whilst on the other side, we have a bit of a slower deploy here by Scuff, or maybe an air opener. Actually, what do you think about this start by Scuff here on the left side?
So the standard way to deal with forward deployment in enemy elite infantry, spec ops, etc., is you send helicopters. Helicopters are fast and they murder infantry like immediately. Sending the recon heavy opener with a bunch of cobras out there, I think that's pretty justifiable reaction against playing against fourth, because you know that fourth is going to be all over the map. They're going to have Falshim SPG9s, they're going to have Falshim Strelas even. They're going to be just in the opener you can't beat the speed of the forward deploying weapons teams, and fourth also has a bunch of good air and bunch of good helicopters. So I think Scuff is looking at the assets available and is saying, yeah, we're doing an air opener here, and then we're transitioning probably into something around M1A1 tanks, because the fourth moto's tank tab is very weak. And but starting out anything with anything expensive, anything risky, risks the fact that fourth moto will be able to react with it, to react to it with air. And so that's why I think this is going to be a bunch of Cobras and Skyward Warriors with heavily defended in the air. Eighth does not get the best fighters. They only get the F-16 AAs, the regular AAs, so only 4 missiles, suboptimal, obviously, but en masse, they can actually, I think they can pretty well challenge the MiG-29s that are going to be brought out by the East Germans.
Yeah, the MiG-29 on the other side is on a similar level, though a bit weaker in the East German ones. They have lower ACM than the F-16, so the F-16 actually, in that 1v1 fight, should have the slight advantage even. And you don't get that many MiG-29s anyway. And the question is, will we see any strike aircraft here from Scuff as well in this opener? We will see in a second, as the amount
I mean,
of
we better. There's barely anything on board.
Yeah, we see little AA here on the side of Woe Is Me. We see an AA helicopter even replacing the coupe that was deployed earlier, and Estrella, and yeah, double F-16 in the sky. So this is a really weak anti-aircraft opener here from Woe Is Me, and that might go wrong quite quickly. The Estrella 2 Vulture Maker there has a lot of of it targets and only 6 missiles to fire, which are also relatively low accuracy. At least the warrior Kiowa not killing it immediately, but the SPG-9 already going down. A lot of targets already being shot upon. SPG-9 number 2 going down. The helicopter is all getting killed by the F-16, and we have the A-10 out here now. So yeah, this is not looking so hot. Strela being under fire as well. A-10 not shooting that down. That is a mistake. They could have just killed the Strela. The Strela not able to kill the Cobra on the other side, but at the same time, MiG-29s killing off an F-16 and a Cobra on the south, so at least some kills here going in for Woe Is Me, and the A-10 not doing as much damage as hoped maybe here by Scuff so far.
Yeah, I think I think Woe Is Me, because this is not an airborne division. The fourth is an infantry division, which means that it has way more versatility on how to keep on playing even if they fail with the forward deployment opener. And we should point out that it's going to take some time for Scuff to start bringing units on board as well, because the actual time cost here of having to wait for the points to. Oh, the A10 gets big hits into the A10. Only 3 health
Can it
left.
find a kill? It can't find a kill on the way out. So Strela,
No.
yeah, A10 will be damaged for a while there, and Strelas did a good job there. Might be out of ammo now. Yeah, the northern one is out of ammo, so the Kiowa Warrior, that is out of ammo as well. But the Cobras and Kiowa Warriors could actually run over the north now, though I don't think Scuff has counted the shots, so might not really expect that. MiG-29 here coming in, killing the Kiowa Warrior before it can land. That is big. F-16 on its tail. Can that find the retaliation? No, it's running low on missiles. Down to its gun now, and the MiG-29 most likely will get out before the F-16 can find the kill there. Oh, it actually gets shut down. It says it's shut down. It did warp out. Is it actually dead?
Yeah. I think the model warped away in the last second, but the kill was taken. The kill is in the kill feed, but the model was vanished, so it looked like it escaped.
So it just warped into another dimension just to die there. And yeah, that is unfortunate. Mordschützen under fire. Fallschirmjäger Sprengtaucher under fire as well. Cobra really helping out there. Yes, Wozmi is trying to stabilize the north. CV's only coming in now for Scuff. Still, yeah, now for Wozmi as well. Low CV play on both sides as they needed every single unit for the opener. Another A10 coming in. We see Estrella 1 coming in now and a Shilka. No long range AA still. So yeah, this playstyle here by Wozmi is really risky against the airplay that we see from Scuff.
Yeah, there are no coups coming out, but a Shilka and an SPW-40 Strela 1, the fast deployed but very lightly armed AA vehicle Strela 1 is going to be there in time, possibly to even engage this A10. The big problem here for Wozmi is that the recon of Scuff is getting into positions to look at the reinforcement routes. This is massive because the A10 and the helicopters can start targeting the enemies before they're in the positions, and Rangers are doing a combat drop right at the post here up north. Rangers actually probably being like jumping out here and taking this entirely for themselves, and with the Dragon they'll be able to cover a large amount of area here.
Yeah, even the landed Black Hawk helping out a bit there. Cobra moving around. AA Hind number 2 getting shut down. Strela and Igla trying to get the kill there. But the Strela 1 is a pretty terrible AA piece as well, and it doesn't get a single hit on the A10 there. So A10 will make it out again, and this game is not going so hot for Wozmi right now. Wozmi has recon units in the south though, whilst there's no units there for Scuff. Scuff is all in for the big breakthrough in the north, because there are the 4 points up there, whilst there's only 2 points in the south. So the ones in the south are easier to defend than Alpha or Bravo in the north. So if you stabilize, get control over your Alpha point again, and then control the south, the wave to victory is there here for Wozmi. Stabilization in the north is still a bit off though, and we will see if that actually is possible. Dragon engaging against the T-55, A10 firing another missile, and the Warrior Kiowa actually outranging the Shilka here, so the Shilka has to be careful as well. As the A10 comes in another time, Kiowa Warrior stunning the Shilka down, and most likely gonna find the kill there. Shilka in big trouble.
Second miss.
That is really lucky against the 70% accuracy. Third miss in a row. Can the fourth missile do it? As the MiG-21 comes around. Nope. That is the luckiest Shilka I've ever seen. 4 misses of the Kiowa Warrior. MiG-21 dealing a bit of damage there in the end. And the A-10 being pushed out by the Shilka here as well. Ranger Dragon, the only unit dying there, as they didn't get the kill onto the T-55 either. Like, this is a wild fight between both players. MiG-21 going way too deep there this time around though. They should have just evacuated. F-16 finding the kill, flying in again, and finally a coup here. Like, I don't know why their coup at the start was deleted. Having a coup here throughout the early game would have made this life a lot easier for Woe Is Me, most likely. But it is finally here, and that should help out stabilize if there's any frontline units remaining on the battlefield, which is a big if right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's barely a front line here on either end. I think there's the CEV and a tank on a tank on Woe Is Me's side, which is surrounded by a bunch of AA and some recon units, and I think that's just all the forces out here right now. And I think the T55 AM2Bs, even though pretty decent units themselves, really are not necessarily no, actually, no. They can engage at long range at soft targets, so I think they are pretty good. But they're just massive. They're not heavily armored or fast, so they're very good targets for enemy anti-aircraft aircraft.
Yeah, the F-16, one of them being shut down or pushed back. Coop showing its prowess there, getting a hit in, dealing 9 damage with it. But another F-16 coming in as well. So yeah, Scav really focusing on winning the airfight, bringing in a Seed Wild Weasel now as well. This is kind of Fortitude fans level of airplay here right now. Question is, will it work out? The Seed missile strike going to try to get a kill, but will not find it. And so the Seed plane actually getting killed off here. Coop winning that engagement. Yeah, the Shrieks are the weakest Seed missile in the game. MiG-29 going down on the other side, though. That's a big loss. Going way too deep there. So, yeah, Seed versus MiG-29 trade-off. And Estrella, I think, went down as well to the units on the ground. So, it's still not great trades for Woe Is Me, but at least was an important kill on that Seed plane.
Yeah, looking at this engagement that's happening here, the dragons are just the dragons can penetrate the T-55's armor, so that is a massive thing that is keeping Woe Is Me back here. Woe Is Me really wants to be on this point, not just because of the tick, but just because the more the SCAF is able to reinforce these eastern tree lines, the like if nobody wants on the eastern side, nobody wants to be attacking the lines that are supposed to be their own defensive positions. And as long as the reinforcement route for SCAF is up here, this is going to be a bad engagement. But I think there might be enough tanks if the Cobra, it's not a tow Cobra, and the Ito
the
down
rocket
south.
artillery. The ARM 70 coming in really hot. There's so many targets in that circle. All the infantry clumped up. That ARM 70 is a brilliant investment right now. Stunning down all the Dragon units, so the DMP-1s and T-55s can just fire away. And getting a lot of damage onto the armored vehicles as well. Modschützen and Outclever should be able to at least secure the tree line now again. And that is super important here, because at the same time, Woe Is Me got control over the south. Mech Rifles trying to push in there, but the Mod Aufklärer getting the kill onto the MR13 transport, and the Mech Rifles caught out in the open, getting shut down by the Su-22 now as well. So the Mod Aufklärer winning that fight. Ooh, Su-22 going for the A-10 kill. Barely not getting the kill there, but pushing in the A-10 back at the same time. The other one coming in the north, but has to be careful with the Coop missiles. Coop, oh, out of rounds now, and does miss, so the A-10 actually can go ham now. That is a big problem again for Woe Is Me.
But SCAF doesn't know that it's out of rounds, so SCAF might think that this is that is the range. I can't push further with my A-10, even despite the Coop being out of ammo.
Bradley engaging onto the Coop though. Coop now trying to run away. That might be too late. It is too late. That is a massive blow once more to Woe Is Me's air defense, as the Strella's all down as well. There is no air defense on the battlefield. The A-10 can go ham now, as the T-55s get taken out by long-range ATGMs as well. A good couple of infantry units getting killed off on the side of Scuff at the same time. So it's not like Woe Is Me doesn't get any kills here, but it is still once more a reset to just the bare minimum of forces up north here.
Yeah, I know. So the Abrams is here now, and there is nothing that can realistically kill the Abrams. outside of maybe a double RM70 push, but there's only a single RM70 right now.
Yeah, Cobra flying around, 8 hands coming in a number again, trying to find some kills. Hopefler will get killed off there. M113A3 ACAF getting another kill. Arm 70 trying to get the ITO, trying to get the ACAF. Will most likely succeed there. We have another seed plane coming in on both sides actually. There's another coup trying to come in here, so the seed plane could actually hit something. That's the SU-22 tries to go for the kill for it on the 8 hands, so they are hard to kill, and one of them being pushed back at least. Whilst the seed flies around. Oh, the coup activates at the wrong moment. Is really fortunate that that strike once more does miss its target, as that could have been a really devastating kill. You can't afford to lose any single coup here anymore, as woe is me. So you have to be on point with your micro there.
So Bradley taking out the last tank. Just as reinforcements are coming in, Bradley and Abrams are going and taking Alpha back. The Abrams is pretty close, and close ranges are the only way that the T-55s can penetrate the armor. But now the Abrams is safely has moved back to the defensive lines and not even trying to take any risks about hidden T-55s.
Yeah, ooh, Coop getting hit against the F-16. Strike coming around again though, and it's once more not turned off. Coop does get missed there. We at least don't have a tick for anybody because of the capture of the South. The southern situation really keeping Voice Me alive right now, but there's not that many forces there, so Scuff with a bit of investment there could overwhelm that. And the M1A1 engaging the Modschützen there right now. Nothing really there to help the Modschützen out. The Concourse is out of ammo. Cube still rolling forward in the north. Whilst we see 2 more Stellar 1s coming in. The Arm 70 is a really strong unit in the rear, but everything else here seems to be in favor of Scuff right now. Modschützen under fire by the Cobra. The Strela is not in a position to retaliate, to shoot it down. Trying to get into a spot where they can shoot. One hit. Can the second Strela finish the job? Oh, Strela number 1 goes down, but at least the Cobra dies with it. So the trade is okay here once more, but I feel like it's time for Voice Me to start to maybe get better than okay trades, because if the M1A1 ball gets too big here, those okay trades will not save you. MiG-23 HE actually gets the kill into the M1A1. That is big. Will get out alive as well. Okay, that was an important bombing run. A really important bombing run here.
Yeah, when I used to start, when I started out playing the game, I used to love the MiG-23 MF because all the beginner level games would start out by people spamming infantry. So I would always open with the bomber with 6 500-kilogram bombs and just singularly eliminate enemy front lines. That's a tip for anybody who's playing the playing 10v10 or other matchups where people spam a lot of units. Also good enough to be able to take out the Abrams. But the thing about the Abrams is these are zero vet Abrams, which is, first of all, kind of rare because you get a lot of them. You don't need to take them at zero vet. The increased availability is just a massive bonus here. Not the resources that Fourth Moto has to commit to kill an A1 Abrams, and the fact that they're like, you get like 4 per card when you like, this is the divisional matchup here is massively into Scuff's advantage.
Yeah, we see the Arm 70 once more setting up in the rear. T-55s sitting around these only. Like, the artillery is the way to victory here, in my eyes, for Woes Me, the second Arm 70, and those salvos. On a map like this, where units, where the defensive positions are relatively concentrated, can do a lot of damage. Has to keep the M1A1 count low though. If that hits 3, 4, 5, it starts to become complicated. Single M1A1s can be side-shotted, can be overwhelmed with enough stress. If the number goes too high though, that changes quite quickly. F-16s here coming around, trying to hunt down the seat. pushing it back for now. Coop on the other side, not able to retaliate. So, yeah, we will see both sides being pushed back. And yeah, ICT, I am joined by Chlorite. You can find his Twitch channel in the chat right now. I'll leave a follow there if you enjoy his commentary here and you want to see more of his action, more of his 1v1 action over there.
Yeah. So what's happening right now is that this engagement that Woe Is Me is trying to get back into into alpha. It's just a massively risky engagement. The enemy has a wide front. They have Itos. The Falshimiega Metis, yes, does get the Ito. That's a massive kill. Now the flank is secure for the moment. But even more good American infantry units, mech rifles, engineer dragon are moving in here, and all of these the cover advantage is just so huge for Scuff. Scuff wants to keep fighting in this position. This is the place where Woe Is Me can't do any fourth moto trickery, but the engagements are pretty much decided by the hard factors, by the armor on the tanks, by the range of the guns, by the accuracy, etc., etc.
The
But
ARM-70 though is trying to soften up that hard factor. We see a 152mm howitzer as well, the Selbst Fahrlafette heavy S3M, the Akatsia in Soviet nomenclature. And yeah, with the artillery coming in here, ARM-70 killing off the mech rifles, the howitzer softening up the engineered dragons here in a second, and that push might be helped by that a lot. Like, the mech rifles will go down, that allows the infantry to push a bit further. M1A1 on its own has a good amount of damage output, but the BMPs and T-55s have just more rounds there, more explosives flying down, and the MiG-23 gets another run through. It most likely will go down here. Is it actually surviving? No, it dies on the way out, yeah. But still, super important kill here, because now there's no AT here. The rocket artillery killing off the infantry. There is a engineering vehicle, combat engineer vehicle with a howitzer, but that can't kill a T-55. There's a Bradley in the north that got reloaded. Okay, it has one TOW-2 flying. That might actually be really important here. Can it find the kill? No, it does actually lose track. T-55 alive for now, but the supply truck is coming up. That Bradley position is what keeps the push from being devastating here right now. Otherwise, Woe Is Me most likely gonna make it through there. Most likely recapturing Alpha here right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the fact that Woe Is Me managed to get into that engagement and seems to be like successfully attacking is just huge. The A10s have been kept. The A10s have been just repeatedly getting fired by the Coops, dodging each and every time. Scuff doesn't. I think Scuff is controlling. Doesn't even realize that this is happening. Down south, artillery and the FS Jäger Metis have managed to hold up, and suddenly this front is significantly wider. If this T-55A and 2 can push west a little bit, they'll have an open season attacking the Bradleys, the Chaparros. I think Scuff kind of justifiably didn't think that they were going to lose this forest, and now all the troops are in a pretty vulnerable locations here.
Yeah, the T-55 aim to be also getting the kill onto the Bradley in the north with its fantastic long range, fast flying, relatively low damage, but still good enough damage for Bradley Bastion ATGM, the 9M117 getting the kill there. And so the Bradley was taken out of the equation as a flanking unit as well. And there are a couple of Itos now. There is one more Bradley, so it's not looking like Woe Is Me is going to get a breakthrough here anytime soon. But if the CV can get into Alpha again, then they will be on the take again. Oh, but Shilka going down to the seat. Coop reactivating, getting the seatplane on the way out though. So that's the second seatplane down. That's most likely all the seatplanes gone. So Coops from now on can be activated the whole time through, don't have to be microed anymore, and that will make killing off A10s like there a lot easier. Another A10 down. So the important planes going down, and the ground forces of Guff here looking a lot more vulnerable than they did 2-3 minutes ago.
Yeah, this. I mean, there's still more American troops here. The second A10. If the second A10 gets killed right now, that could be a big hit. Yes, it will
Oh,
survive.
Strela does miss. Coop has one more shot though. Does miss as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
Coop.
but even then, it's gonna be out for a while now, and this is buying
Oh,
buying
Coop.
time for
Yeah,
both
okay.
me.
No, that one doesn't get the hit either. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, it's out for a while. It will be out for repairs. Meanwhile, Arm 70 and the howitzer in the rear, all just fine for voice me. We have an M109 on the other side though, which is super close to the front line, trying to shoot a building without any units inside, believing that the Father Megamedis might still be in there. T55 AM2B getting stopped by the Ito in the south though. So the Voseme's counter push here not going super well right now, but it is still going on. M1 IP against two T55s in the north. They get a lot of stun damage, and the Arm 70 coming at the perfect moment, getting the route on the M1 IP. This is big. This is really, really painful for Scuff, as this means that the M1 can't be microed right now. It will just fall back, and the Arm 70 actually finding the kill there. Oh, really fantastic salvo by this rocket artillery. Rocket artillery, absolute key unit here. At MVP for sure. And if the game is going to be won by Woe is Me, it's gonna be on the back of this artillery.
Yeah, speaking of MVPs, the Kube, the Preichendorfer Kube has vetted up to veterancy and is being leveled up by the leader. So it's got 60 max accuracy, and it just immediately stopped the F-111 LGB bomber before it was even there. The Kube being able to stop that probably bought some time that is completely crucial for Woe is Me here. The American tanks are still very close. The CEVs do amazing damage against soft targets, but under fire, the if your reload time is increased when you're and the CEV goes down and the Abram is at half health. The MiG-23, just the HE bomber, being able to so quickly and reliably damage these Abrams is massive. And
There's
now
nothing to
we see
follow
the
it up though.
downside of the zero veterans. It means that it's going to take so much longer for those tanks to regain their competency and accuracy.
Yeah, what I have to be really critical about is Scuff's play in the south. Like, there's nothing there to protect that. So, like, just a bit of investment and capturing Delta would completely alter the way Woesme has to play this game. Currently, Woesme can take all the time in the world, all the time to reload the artillery, and they finally get the CVN actually going up to the tick now. And yeah, the Abrams is low. It's still unopposed though. There's nothing with long range AT here right now around to kill the M1I Abrams, so Voice Me shouldn't be able to get any further, but it is able to get the +2 here now, and that should not happen. Like, there's only 2 mod outflares and a Conquerors in the south. A single helicopter can clean this all up, and with Voice Me having air superiority, cleaning up the south should be easy. And they should have actually used A10s and planes, maybe even in the south, instead of flying it in the Coop alley in the north. But they seem to be a bit too focused here on all of this. Scuff is
Yeah,
just a bit too down the alley. The
it is absolutely the horse blinder effect that happens with people, especially on this map and Two Lakes. And I do think that at the start, I think it was reasonable to fight over that defensive line to keep holding it because the engagements were so good. But at this point now, the absolute non-existent investment down south is backfiring hard right now. Just like a recon unit and a tank or just a helicopter, just anything, and to just contest one of those points that would draw out the resources that are currently successfully beating Scuff. And after repeated attacks of by Woe is Me, the troops still kept on coming. The fourth has deep pockets, and the troops are taken on zero vet, basically on the DDR side. basically all troops actually. So losing those units, having to keep rebuying these units to win is a valid tactic, but you can counter that tactic by forcing your enemy to spread out, and that hasn't happened here. Just the American division overconfidence in your own superior units, and it's really now probably hurting Scuff a little bit.
Yeah,
Not
Scuff's
going to be
combined
happy
arms
when
here
I watch the
starting to fall
replay.
apart. Recon being taken out. M1's being brought in actually at 0 vet. So when they get stressed, they actually stay stressed for quite a while. And we saw the Bradley now being taken out as well. There's little AT here now, so the T-55s and BMP-1s can be cheap fire support for now. Another M1 coming in, but they are really vulnerable. And the ARM-70s now, oh my goodness, they're finding another fantastic target here. The MUD just saving itself in time, but the M109 actually in danger there. Will survive with relatively low damage though. The ARM-70 maybe a bit too far in the rear to be really effective there. The howitzer unused, that's something that I would have to be critical of, that this howitzer here not using as many rounds as it could have by now. But outside of that, was me actually really getting back in here, about to equalize the score, and Scuff finally starting to do some action in the south, but it's still so little. They have a CV even brought in for there, and just a bit more, and this would be easily taken over, but Scuff, yeah, with the blinders on, just fully focused on the north, and that is not going well right now.
Yeah, an MI8 UPK actually sent by Wowies Me to counter this mech rifle that did some tried to do some investigations down south, and two airplanes, two A-10s coming behind this F-16 now, and we're gonna see this is gonna be a make or break moment here. Not that much stuff on the red side, and with the if the Abrams can come into the zone after all of these crucial key units have been killed by the A-10s, that could be could actually win this game for Scuff, I think. But do they have the spotting?
Coop actually already stunning
They
the
have
first
some
one.
spotting.
Yeah, this is the issue. The Coop now 3-star veterancy. That is a pretty accurate Coop, and it will push back your slow flying A-10s. The A-10s would have absolute free reign in the south. That's why, like, when you are dominant with air, just switch to the other side of the map. The enemy cannot move their AA as fast as your airplanes can fly around, and you have immediately force advantage when you use them here, but instead flying them into the Coop alley up here is not working out. Both A-10s pushed back, and this is devastating here, as Woes Me is now ahead in points, and we have only 10 minutes remaining, and a counter push here will be hard to achieve, especially with the ARM-70s aiming up one more time here for another great hit against the Abrams, which, when stunned and stressed, have insanely long time to recover because they are on 0 veterancy.
Yeah, the tactic is I think this is the same tactic that Pro Commie used. It's pretty popular in top tier ranked, in which you have the non-vet Abrams as basically fire support units, spammable long-range fire support units, whereas the actual fighting and actual contact with the enemy is always made with these large infantry squads, such as engineers and mech rifles. And with even the Rangers are taken at the lowest veterancy. The availability is really key in these plans. But yeah, Abrams don't get autoloaders, so their rate of fire will go down and stay down if they get hit, even if they don't take any damage.
Yeah, and the stress is real here now on one of the M1s. The rocket artillery ones were really effective. A lot of mech rifles and dragons going down. Finally, the big assault of Scuff in the south. But is this too late? Me-24P AT coming around. That actually could clean up the Ranger dragons quite nicely. And yeah, was me now forced to put in more units in the south. The Coop that the MUD getting killed by the Conquerors there that was supposed to capture the units in the south. Oh, that Conquerors really key, will prevent Scuff from capturing the points too quickly. And with only 8 minutes remaining and the +2 still ticking, and at the same time was me being on the big attack in the north, that might be the kill of the game. The Conquerors killing the CV down here. Rangers starting to secure the position, but at the same time, the north is starting to fully collapse here for Scuff.
Yeah, I think the Abrams, the fire support Abrams here don't have the rate of fire to kill everything, and they need the Cobras, they need the A10s, they need like any kind of air superiority here, and I think that's just done. That was the single coup hard countered the entirety of the tactic of the eighth, and I think that's beautiful. I think it's I like to see, I like seeing the low tech units actually prevail for once against the high tech.
Yeah, it's a game of attrition. Like, both sides were down to so few units. There were a couple of moments where Woe Is Me was close to breaking in this game, but the situation has changed drastically since then. There is no CV to. Oh, no, there is an SPW, but it's pretty far in the rear here to capture Bravo. But the Mud for Scuff most likely will go around in the south. So, yeah, if the +2 gets reverted here now for Scuff by taking Delta and Charlie, the situation might still deteriorate for Wozme. But so they need to get the SPW in there, but that shouldn't be a problem. The fuel is not an issue or anything. It's just this unit physically needs to move forward.
Yeah, even if the Mud gets into Delta right now, and the South has been pretty conclusively taken over by the Rangers, the breakthrough that is driving this, the T-55 is driving to basically touching distance where it can penetrate the. Theoretically, it could penetrate the M1 Abrams armor, but of course the T-55s are also zero vet, and their rate of fire is an abysmal 7. So with the minus 40 percent reload time or whatever, that the not without numbers, not possible to charge the Abrams.
Yeah, M1's here trying to hold the line. They are so inaccurate though that they miss against the T-55 all the time as well. So yeah, this CV SPW now moving forward. The Mud of Scuff did go around and capture the zones in the south, and that might get a +2 for a couple of seconds, but it's nearly 400 points difference now, and the Conquerors actually might find another sneaky kill there. It don't get aligned quick enough, so yeah, the Mud CP gets through, and we see the SPW moving in the north though. Ooh, ATGM's flying, might find the kill there. No, do miss because they are super stressed out as well. Yeah, both sides living in a stressed out world here, but the ones of Voice Me recovering at least a bit quicker every time. And yeah, that's an issue when you don't take units on veterancy. Like, yes, you get a bit more of them, but the stress leads to lower cost efficiency of them. And cost efficiency obviously is a really important thing next to availability as well. And the balance between that is hard to find. The M1A1s for sure would love to be higher veterancy right now.
Yeah, I think I never take MBTs on zero vet just for the reason that the stress recovery is 3 times higher on vet 1 compared to vet 0, and this means that zero vet tanks spend 3 times as long being combat ineffective, and that is just inefficient.
Also,
A
the leveling
counterattack.
up cost is really an issue. Leveling up from 0 vet to 1 vet is a lot more expensive than leveling up from 1 vet to 2 vet and 3 vet. Like, it's the same from 1 vet to 3 vet than it is from 0 vet to 1 vet. So
Oh,
that
I
is
don't know.
another boon of being 0 vet. You will never see the higher levels. And
Yeah, the counterattack by Woe Is Me, sending 6, 7, 8 infantry units to the town, just completely overwhelming any rangers that might be lurking there. Yeah, and Scuff was able to take the southern positions, but it was not absolutely not able to hold them. And the resources that have been sent, the tanks, are all up north, which is and I don't think this is a position that you can engage without infantry. And there's a single car unit of rangers and a wounded tow cobra with no ammo. I think the offensive potential here is pretty bad with 3 minutes left in the game.
yeah, SPWs pushing forward, BMP1 pushing forward as well. Woe Is Me on 700 points, and the CV will get through here. The cost efficiency prevails, and that's how you play fourth. That's really like you try to win a bit earlier than this usually, but the efficiency of keeping a decent combined arms, like having tanks all throughout games that can engage in long range, that can be a threat, whilst having cost-efficient units that can fight on all ranges throughout the game is just what keeps fourth going, what keeps them fueled, and it's a really, really well executed game here by Woes Me. The North gets recaptured by an M1 CV, but at the same time, Woes Me with a perfect counterattack in the South, stopping any tick from happening once more. Most likely gonna even get a red tick here up in a second once the mud does fall. As the North gets captured at the same time, so that is not happening just yet, but the SPW can move into the southern zone as soon as the Ranger Dragon has gone down as well. So yeah, GGVP here, 2 minutes remaining, and Scuff is on the brink of collapse. Will get a 4 deep counter push in the north, but there's too little time here to get that actually on the scoreboard. Good counterattack here by Scuff, but it is too late, little too late. Woe is me, bought enough time here, and yeah, bought a great amount of control in the south here with the counterattack as well.
Yeah, I think both of these players, I think Woe is Me sending wave after wave of attacks from Foxtrot to Alpha. Those were, I mean, those positions were absolutely necessary, and but being able to keep that up, keep that kind of the process of engaging up, and then microing the anti-air in a way that managed to attrition and whittle down the air capacity of Scuff, all while kind of not necessarily purposefully, but locking down Scuff to the north. And I think that by the time there was a moment in which the MiG-23s were able to get a series of killed tanks, and I think that was the crucial one. If instead of having the single zero vet Abrams out there, if there had been 3 or 4 at the same time, that would have been extremely difficult to attack from fourth.
Yeah, the Abrams gets the rear point capture here. Will get a couple more points here with the +4. That is all nice and fair for Scuff, but with only 18 seconds on the scoreboard, this game goes down all the way to the wire. M1A1 getting taken out by a couple of T-55s, pushing in really close, at which ranges the armor of Abrams stops to be efficient as well. And yeah, this is a nice GG game here, getting us to a game 3, which I'm pretty excited for, as this was a super intense series so far, with both sides having the better early game in one game and then getting pushed back in the end. Like it's kind of like mirror of the first game in that regard, I feel like, because Scuff for sure had the better early game here, but then lost it in a bit of an overextension, and was me able to get the points there and get us to an 1-1 equal scoreboard.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of interested after these 2 games of kind of blinders ruling the decisive battle, ruling the game so far. I'm very interested in seeing how are these players going to change for the third map, which I believe is played on Airport. Yes, Airport is an area in which you can't really do decisive battle meta because because the airport zones are so interconnected and so heavily fortifiable that people play kind of have wider fronts and wider deployments. And that is why airport so often leads to kind of artillery fights, whereas Vertigo and Two Lakes, even though artillery is used there, they have these singular positions in which everybody concentrates on.
Yeah, and we will get in there in a second, guys. Quick break, and then we're going to be back with game number 3, the decider game here for this map. So yeah, see you there in a second. Also, thanks for the follows, guys, everybody. Today it has been a good day there. So here we go again, everybody. The final game, Scav versus Woe Is Me. And this is not just about getting to the semifinal, but also clearing that ticket to Division 1 next season. Because the top 4 will go up. And Division 1 also means hot money inside. So Division 2 has a small prize pool thanks to all of your help as well by now. Thanks to all the support on matcherino. We are up to $321 by now. And you can support the prize pool via the matcherino link in the chat right now if you want to see more of this hot action and want to get the players a bit more motivated to play even better than they already do and show some appreciation. And yeah, thanks to all of you donating with the free codes and with the direct money. And yeah, it's great to see this always going through all the support from the community. Also, yeah, thanks for all the support on the channel, as I said before. If you have a Twitch Prime laying around, maybe consider using it here if you enjoy the content. And yeah, let's see what the first UK versus second Panzer Grenadier battle on airport here can bring, as second Panzer Gren coming in with a lot of hot units, isn't it?
Yeah. So second Panzer Grenadier is one of the pretty standard picks on airport. Airport is a very defensive map, so having the forward deployment component with the Fallschirmjägers, Fallschirmpala-Milans, Fallschirm machine guns, actually MG3s, all of this is very suitable to not lose ground in the opener, to keep up even with the faster divisions such as airborne, but also having a heavy armored component, mechanized artillery, Eyehawks, good air, etc., etc. And from here, we're seeing that the tank component is actually very light, with vetted up Leopard 1s, these obsolete Leopard 1s with only a 1,900 meter range. And they are being deployed in kind of a fire support capacity, I think, to support the infantry fires that the Fallschirmjägers are going to fight. And the Eyehawk is deployed pretty back, actually, but I think that's pretty smart considering how air dominant first UK is. Both of these divisions get good air supremacy fighters, they get good bombers, they get good artillery, and when it comes to the tanks, even though first UK gets way more of them, I do think that the second Panzer, in general, if you have Leopard 2A3s going against Challenger Mark IIs, I think the Leopards will win just because of the rate of fire and the speed and such. But Scuff does have the potential to build up a huge blob of armor, whereas the comparable blob of armor from the second Panzer Grenadier would be way less heavy.
Yeah, we see a lot of Milan 2s here being used by Scav early on. 3 in transport, 1 in a rover. Behind that, Skimithars immediately as well. And we also see a good amount of Terrier Paras, a unit that is really has been a two-edged sword in the past in the league so far, with people over-investing into it. And it's a pretty interesting setup here for Scuff, as all of that forward deployment is followed up by an FSP this time on Scuff's side of things. So they might be ready for an artillery spam here with first UK, which is an interesting choice because the artillery that you get as first UK is not particularly noticeable. Like, you get some M109s and that's the best you get. Outside of that, you get the Abbott, but that one is actually rather mediocre.
Yeah, but in town fights it's good because it's got 6 rounds, and if you put it on close, you can do a lot of damage to buildings. But it's situational. Situational units tend to be mediocre, whereas stuff like Leopard 2A3s, well, they're not situational. They're always good. Terriers engaging with the Fallschirmjäger here. Terriers para immediately getting routed because they are 0 vet. And I personally like to get my Terriers para with the veterancy because you're never going to use more than 4 of them in the opener anyways. The best bomber in the game, the Harrier AG2, just got shot down, and without even dropping its bombers. That's a tragedy of the maximum scale. Or whatever the meme is. Yeah, Tornado freely being able to flying past the Javelin LMLs, the multi-launching tripod manpads, actually being able to strafe down the Javelin. So far, woe is me taking some good engagements. And the first squad of Terrier Para already leaving the zone. They felt like they had enough. and the Leopard 1A1A1s actually, considering how light both of these openers are, tank wise, the Leopard's actually just doing very good fire support,
Yeah,
being able to possibly drive the SAS off.
and
With 11 rate of fire, by the way. With this veterancy, they have 11 rate of fire.
yeah, Leo was really pushing in here. Scimitars trying to hold off the Falchimeers, but they won't stand a chance against the Leos, so they have to be careful. Milan 2, though, in a good spot. Has a good line of sight there. That could be helpful to at least kill one or two. Both Milan 2s there basically having a flanking position at any time there. So the Leos won't be able to push too deep, but the zone stays contested, which in the long run should be good for Scuff. Scuff's Sultan on the way to capture the southern zones right now. And then it would be a small take here for Scuff if the zone in the middle stays contested. But that is still a good bit out. Leo 1A1 though, finally getting killed by Milan 2. And Scimitar still helping out here with some fire support. One even able to get on top of the Lux with heavy hits though, stunning down the Scimitar at least. So that Rarden there is really inaccurate. Leo 1A1 trying to come around. And we have a Tornado Metzwerkwaffe. Ooh. Interesting choice. Coming in for the Milan 2. Will find the kill easily, obviously. And most likely will get out alive as well. Damaged by the LML, but it should not be killed off. Oh, it actually got microed! It only shot half its load, but it misses with the second one.
Oh wow, that's some advanced Metzwerkwaffe tactics. Gotta say.
Yeah, Netzwerkwaffe
Chal-
not getting the kill on the Milan 2 there.
Yeah, so for those who are not or who are unaware, the Challenger Mark III is only available for the first UK, and it's only available in pretty limited numbers. But it is the British tank that has 20 penetration, and it's currently driving towards the battle space. 20 penetration is kind of the key. That is what M1A1s have, and that is what Leopard 2s have. The Leopard 2A3s of the 2nd Panzer Grenadier, but the Challenger Mark IIs, the normal ones, those ones have only 18 penetration. So combined with the slow rate of fire of the Challengers and the slow speed, the Leopard 2s can generally beat them, but the Challenger Mark 3s need to be taken out with something else, possibly even a cluster bomber or artillery.
Yeah, they also have 2 more frontal armor plus 1 extra hit point, so they will win a drawn-out fight, even with their slightly lower rate of fire usually, as they also take a bit less stress from the damage. And yeah, Pa 1A1 helicopter coming in from the rear. Milan 2 here might find another Leo 1A1. Yes, it does. The Leo 2A3 leader for Woe Is Me on the way in here. Pa helicopter trying to fly forward, but we have the tractor appears here on the other side, so the ATGM helicopter has to be careful. Looks under fire by the Milan 2 from the side again. Does get out of there alive for now. We have more scimitars. We have a lot more warrior martyrs coming in now. And we have the first big artillery piece. So yeah, Woe Is Me wants to get rid of all of those pesky Milan 2s. And the M110 is a good way to do that. So we will see if that can do the job here with the first salvo.
Yeah, the M110s are one of the big key units of 2nd Panzer Grenadier, and we have seen all throughout the league, we have seen airport be the place where those things get brought up early, like under 10 minutes, under 5 minutes sometimes. The ability to quickly, like permanently compromise to a permanent end buildings is really suitable, and the way you want to attack on this map is that you want to bombard certain key buildings and often towers that tend to always have something in them, generally ATGMs and recon, and being able to take those things out and while microing your own infantry so that they are not in the most predictable locations is the way to keep trading well into the late game. Martyrs and more mechanized troops ordered, pioneer armbrust with Fuchs Milans. Nothing too heavy, so still a solid investment into the infantry fight from Woe Is Me. Woe Is Me is playing an infantry division, which means that uh, they do have a way deeper infantry tab than the first UK. Even though first UK also has good infantry like rifles and assault pioneers, they generally can't afford to bring them out at with any veterancy because it's an armored division. So the one vet panzer grenadiers and the pioneers and all of these will have a passive advantage as well as a numbers advantage against the British right now. And the even though West German infantry is generally considered to be pretty low quality, not just because, but also because they have 7.62 weapons, which do about 85% of the DPS that the more modern 5.56 weapons do.
Yeah, we also saw both Milan 2s now being taken out by the M110, so big kills there for Woe Is Me. Will allow the Leo 2A3s to be able to push further forward. Milan 2 helped out, dealing some damage against the Challenger as well, so the Challenger would lose in the duel versus the Leo 2A3 most likely by now, as it is also heavily stressed out. And that is really helpful here for Woe Is Me in the center. It's still a close fight here, and Woe Is Me would need to take more ground afterwards, but the F4F coming in here, taking out the Challenger. There's this big, getting killed off by the tractor appears immediately, so it's just a trait, but it's still a decent speed advantage now. It's a tempo advantage for sure, and Woe Is Me might even be able to just push south then towards Foxtrot after getting the full control over Echo here.
Yeah, this so far the no tanks being able to long range engage this. So could be that the Woe Is Me actually manages to get like significant secondary positions here. There's a full breakthrough, and it's going to take some time for those Chieftain Mark 9s to get into shooting range. Yeah, I think the Leopard 2 can actually just with recon support and the Fuchses. I think they're just going for it right now. There's some free kills on the table.
Yeah, Leopard 2A3 just rolling forward. We have some Centurion and a Chieftain Mark 9 coming up, but the Chieftain Mark 9 doesn't have the max range, so it will lose out here. Fuchs Milan pushing a bit too deep, but yeah, the Leos getting some good engagements here. Rover Milan from the side. Oh, the Martyr smoking the wrong direction, but Rover doesn't want to stay around and take that fight, so it does retreat for now. Leo driving backwards though, as it sees the Lynx hell arm as well, and you don't want to fight those helicopters.
Yeah, a Jaguar HE2, the heavy Jaguar bomber coming, but I think in a it didn't drop its bomb, didn't even have a target, and now might be doesn't get taken out, but does have to lose and go back to repair.
Yeah, F-16 there coming in a decent situation there, getting killed on the hell arm, stopping the Jaguar from getting any bombs through. We see the Centurion and the Chieftain still pushing forward. The AVRE here now trying to disengage a bit, as the Leo 2A3 and the BO-105 helicopter for sure will win that fight. So you have to be careful there, not taking any wrong engagements. Centurion getting hit here by the Leo. Leo might find the kill. No, next shot does miss, and it is not moving to try to hunt them down. So yeah, it's a slow push now to the south for Woe Is Me, but that part looks pretty decent so far. And the M110s continue getting value. Now starting to hit the rifles in the north. Milan 2 there trying to evacuate at the same time, so the looks won't be hit by it. Oh, the Rover Milan from the side, getting a good hit against the Leo 2A3, but the Chieftain cannot follow that up. It tries to, but it's just a bit too slow most likely, isn't it? It only has 45 kilometers off road speed versus the 72 of the Leo, so even with stress, the speed of the Leo will be higher here. Can disengage. Chieftain trying to hunt, but the Leo does stay alive, and the artillery continues doing its damage. Milan 2 next target down there. SAS Patrol the target in the south, and there is nothing similar on the other side yet. The two M109s have been relatively silent so far. They are on the battlefield, but Scuff just not keeping them firing constantly, and that is a mistake here, which will lead to a grind advantage for Woe Is Me for sure.
Yeah, the fact that the fights have been infantry fights so far has put Scuff into a worse position. Scuff's advantage is kind of in the medium to long range, where the chieftains can do damage without having to like that without having to 1v1 leopards. So I think any kind of an attack from Scuff's side needs to be a concentrated mech blob that has enough firepower to break through these buildings and these large infantry squads in buildings. But so far there is no concentrated front line, and the chieftains are weak enough that a single Milan 2 kill can just completely put them out of commission and force them to basically rebuild the tank.
Yeah, Leo 283 trying to help out against the infantry pushing in the middle. Leo 283 leader in the south gets through their Pioneer Ambrose, protecting it a bit up front, and the M110s keep on firing into the position in the north, softening that up quite heavily as well. And there is a lot of Vulture Meter to pounce on any potential weakness coming up there, so Scuff might be in a lot of trouble there. Meanwhile, M109's finally starting to aim up on something again, but they have been silent for a long while. But over the last couple of minutes, the M110s kept up generating value over value, and that is for sure a real problem.
Harrier
Harrier
HE2
HE2
safely flying around, not getting shot by anything. This is a massive signal to Woe Is Me about the state of the anti-air here.
Yeah, getting even a kill on the Rover Milan on the way out. Javelin LML might be able to get it on the way out here. Yes, it does actually. Key kill there for the Javelin. But the situation is still in a pretty tough spot for Scuff here now. And yeah, with Sultan coming around in the north, we have a decent amount of infantry there for Scuff as well. Vulture Makers, though, are a bit more numerous. There is a Leo 1A1 here as well, so the rifles and SAS could get overwhelmed. And the M110s, currently silent, but they did a really good job throughout the game so far. Sultan getting killed off by the Pioneer Armbrust, or the Leo 283. It might actually have been the Leo 283 there getting the kill shot. And that keeps the +2 for Woe Is Me up to 200 points by now, and that is a massive issue here for Scuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at here thinking like, what will Scuff use to attack here? Even as long as the air, as long as I mean, the tornado was just shot down, but as long as Woe Is Me has some kind of air control, crossing over to Foxtrot is going to be so difficult. Any kind of a concentrated push down south for Scuff is going to create an opening for a flank attack by these fast and at this point pretty numerous Leopard 2s. They have 72 kph off-road speed. They are supported by PA-1 helicopters. There are Gepards that can go and support the tanks on the same speed as the tanks. At this point, this engagement engagement angle is just pretty bad for Scuff, and Scuff really wants to. These are troops that can't really organizedly fight against what Woe Is Me has here. And even this kind of traditional defense of stacking infantry or spreading out your Milan 2s gets countered by active and aggressive artillery play. And as we're seeing with the javelins getting owned here, and armored rifle getting removed from the game.
Yeah, Javelin LML going down in the south. M110 keep up the fire, and it is the classic +2 still going on here right now. Chieftain sitting around in the rear, but there are no challengers right now. Another challenger Mark 3 finally coming in. the supply situation. Like, Scuff invested into that FSP and then just didn't use the M109s. And that is just so weird. Like, if you want to get that field supply point actually active, you might as well just spam and anything you see. Like, the M109s don't even need to need to be considerate about being cost efficient or like ammunition efficient with their shots, because there is so much supply. They just need to send some HE shells downrange, and that they haven't done here. Whilst the M109s on the other M110s on the other side have been so devastating. Like, it's a major mistake here by Scuff not using the artillery more. Milan 2 now being the target finally, they will go down. But on the other side, the rifles will go down to the M110s as well, so it's not getting any better trade-wise here right now for Scuff. And the F-16 coming around killing the Hellarm does keep it that way as well. Warrior Pleak is a nice unit as well, can be really good against Leos, but it hasn't been used so much just yet, and the situation might be able to stabilize here for Scuff in the south. Might be able to get back in there, but it is 20 minutes to really get that then reverted and finally get over there again, and that won't be easy for sure, especially as the tractor piers have been shut down as well, so the AA setup is not as easy as it had been before.
Yeah, I think Scuff's plan from the very start was to what was to basically start doing the same kind of fire support infantry fights that that Woe Is Me did from the very start. The having the two leopards out there to do fast firing fire support in the at the middle point was really big, but Scuff couldn't bring out these chieftains and Centurion AVREs out immediately, but had to get into the mid game. But Darius Para were just too weak. They started running immediately. They took a bad engagement, and after that, the ball of fire that the ball of fire support the Scuff wants to exist hasn't been allowed to be built. Meanwhile, the now Scuff has been put into offense despite not really having the capacities to be on the offense, and even having to the challenger is basically doing like flank duty here. There's the direct engagements have just gone pretty badly, and Scuff needs to bleed points for a moment and to build up into something, but the point bleeding is also accompanied by the artillery fire, so it's double bad.
Yeah, M110s here coming in once more. The M109s once more silent on the other side, and once more not aiming at anything. Jaguar and Leo 283 trying to shut down the chieftain push here. Great combo. The Jaguar with the amazing Toe 2 behind the decently armored Leo 283 that can take a couple of shots, whilst anything hit by a Toe 2 needs to immediately get out of there if it doesn't blow up on hit, and that is really scary here for Scuff. The Warrior Pleak though can do some damage as well, does do a lot of damage to a Leo 283 there, so that's a good find. The Jaguar not able to retaliate, and yeah, Scuff playing a defensive battle here. A couple of kills here would be really key. And finds a Fliegerfaust. If the south can be stabilized, there is still some hope here. 700 points is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So the Leo 185 and Leo 283 here now rotating around. We see Leo 185s coming in as well, and this is still a troublesome situation here. Warrior Pleak going down, and the trades just not seemingly not able to go the way of Scuff here in this game.
Yeah, the 700 points isn't game ending, but losing this Leopard 1A5 being in here and doing possibly being able to take out the Javelin and the Chieftain, that could maybe be like if this attack gets totally decimated and these reinforcements are allowed to take free positions down south, that could be something the Scuff just can't deal with.
Both sides super stressed out not hitting there, but another terrible loss in the sky, a tornado and a Harrier going down there without achieving anything of value. So the trades just keep on going badly. Leo 1A5 now being hit up here by the Challenger Mark II, which finds the kill in the end. Leo 2A3 meanwhile trying to rotate around. Another Jaguar HE coming in here, being pushed out, and woe is me on a good way to the semifinal here currently.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice turnaround. As much as we have had like plans in this series, we've had these purposeful, obviously people having ideas what they're going to do, and they have constantly been messed up since the first game. Since game one, these openers have been messed up. There has been overextensions, but like I really enjoy this Division 2 set of top players, but just uh, just just not playing as perfectly as the Division 1 grognards, the people who always make the safest choice, people who don't take too many risks, people who don't overextend. I really enjoy these Division 2 games. Yeah, and the field supply point there, the extra field supply point there is a monument to the fact that these games are not being played perfectly, and the fact that they are constantly have to be outthinking each other. And yeah, right now, woe is me. Is so remind me going to the semifinals.
Yeah, it was me
Yes.
getting the W here. 2-1 lead victory here in the best of three. Going to the semifinals, and with that, also going to the Division 1 next season. So this is quite interesting. Both of these players, by the way, super high on ladder. So like they played also quite a good couple of rank. Oh no, actually, that is my ranked. I think I can see Scuff's rank here.
Yeah,
No,
you've got
it's just
you can't see woe is me. Scuff is like rank 4.
yeah, exactly. Like both are super high on the
Woe
ladder
is
right
me is
now.
13
So
actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are both contenders for sure, and it's good to see woe is me next season left there. Scaff will have to get one more rodeo in Division 2 next season, though. Has a lot of potential as well. Practicing and playing a lot with Mr. Pro Commute, so for sure learning from and practicing with fantastic players there as well. And yeah, gonna be interesting to see how that develops there. But woe is me, we will see for sure more of in the semifinal, and that one will be, I believe, against Static. Uh, Let me have a look. I think that is the upper. No, actually, it will be against the winner between Cheesh and Proletary. And yeah, that is one more series that we can cover today. But I think we go into Medinator versus Jake next. So yeah, one more series coming up, guys. For Division 2 quarterfinals, all of them have been played by now. And yeah, we're gonna go into Medinator versus Jake next. Quick break, and then we're gonna be back for you guys. So don't run away.
So once again, I don't have the game won.
So here we go again. Just another quarterfinals in Division 2. Jake versus Medinator. The winner playing against the winner that we just saw, against woe is me. And we have Jake here on the left side, bringing out 5th plane day. And then we have Medi, once more on 4th, which we saw earlier from woe is me, being played relatively conservative. I don't think we will see that from Medi though, because Medi is one of the OG cheesers in the WARNO community. Good to have him back, and yeah, most likely will lead to some frustration here on Jake's side, because Maddie always goes the long way, always tries to have something sneaking behind you, always tries to have something shooting up your supply lines, shooting up your CVs, and getting a CV sneaked into your rear zone so that they get somehow magically just the 5 points extra at the 40-minute mark. And even though their KD is 5,000 points behind you. And yeah, we will see how that goes here. And yeah, a lot of forti deploy here. What do we have on the left side in blue?
So far, pretty standard French fifth armored 5E, as we call it, as opposed to the 5th Panzer, which is the West German armored division. But yeah, we're seeing Dragon Paras, those are special forces recon units coming out with the in the 50 caliber trucks. which are also very good fire support for the early game. We are seeing AMX-10Ps, the worst IFVs in the game, that are holding the very cheap 25% infantry, 25-point infantry squad, the escort PCs. We're seeing some couple of gazelles and just largely a pretty standard French opener. The big key unit here is the AMX-10 RC, the race car, the Rucanon, the six-wheeled tank-like entity that is armed with a max range 105mm gun, very good optics. It's very fast, and it can basically survive one hit if any. Probably doesn't even survive that one hit. But they are recon vehicles, which means that they forward deploy, so they can be out there at the start, both shooting at the enemy before the enemy realize that the battle has started. And having these Rucanons move out and take positions here will be the first wave of the French armored attack. The second and third waves will be a series of large and good infantry squads, supported by helicopters, probably some pretty good artillery as well, and in the end, the large amounts of ATGMs. The French tanks are weak and obsolete, but also they're playing against fourth, so it should be actually pretty decent. To compensate this, the French tanks have autocannons, which gives them amazing anti-infantry potential. And when it comes to killing heavy tanks, the French need to rely on ATGMs, but fourth doesn't have any heavy tanks.
They don't
Fifth,
even have any armored vehicle on the battlefield outside of 3 SPWs so far, which with 1 frontal armor just barely qualify. So yeah, nothing here really needs AT power. Soft damage is all that is asked for here in the early game, as Medi brings around a couple of SPG9s, brings around a lot of SPG9s actually. That's and a couple of Fagot ATGMs, and then a good amount of infantry, and all of that comes in forward deploy. It's not a single unit deployed on the normal starting line. Everything rushes in here, and here we will see how this opener goes. The Mirage 200, an investment into an aircraft that won't help much here stopping this, so yeah, Jake has to do with relatively split up forces actually. Jake with a heavy push towards Bravo and Foxtrot, so both sides pushing next to each other more so than into each other.
Yeah, I think people generally think of Fifth French 5e as kind of a counter airborne or counter rush division because of their ability to kill infantry so efficiently and their ability to have these forward deployment AMX-10 RCs. But I don't think whatever's going on here from Medi, I don't think it's counterable necessarily. It might be counterable, but it's not possible to prepare for this. So SPG9s recoilless have nested themselves everywhere, and they are fast deployed. They're cheap, and even though the SPG9 isn't that great and only has 25 rounds, that is enough to go in groups to kill enemy infantry units and all vehicles except those that are heavily armored.
Yeah, in the meantime, Aufterror, as per usual for Medi, deploying sneakily in the north, running around there. The Zalkanon's just barely missing it, and it will go onto a reinforcement road to use its RPG 18 to hit something. ATGM's there trying to hold out. So yeah, it's an interesting map split here. Gazalkanon getting run down by MiG-23. The pushing in units of Jig in the south actually getting completely annihilated there. Should not have moved that far forward. And yeah, Jig in a weird spot now, really spread out. Whilst the concentration of forces of Medi looks a lot better to me.
Yeah, I mean the AMX-10 P, so the IFV was actually just driven blindly into the town, and now with Zeke ordering more reservists into a defensive line, just completely admitting that he's lost the town, and Zulu seems to be the position that's going to be under fire here, and afterwards, if Medi is able to threaten Alpha, the 2-point back zone, that's going to be that is like a game-winning condition there, at least bleeding that point for some time. And on the other side, though, Zeke has managed to push the northern sides of Bravo and Foxtrot, hasn't captured them yet, and a helicopter is coming out there to take care of this. But so far as the battle line starts forming, I think the concentrations of AMX 30 B2s, the tanks, will be powerful here. But Fagots, the standard, like cheap spammable ATGMs that are capable of penetrating the AMX 30. So I'm not sure how good that investment is going to be on the long run.
TRM 2000 trying to hunt down the Hind, but the Hind that got down to 1 hit point by the Mirage 200, the F1C 200, trying to disengage. Mirage coming around one more time though, finding the kill. Another Hind being brought in the north. At the same time, Jig able to capture the south. Somehow Echo got captured by Medi though, so the tick is neutralized for now. Medi trying to rotate south with a Vulture leader now, trying to recapture that zone. Aufklärer spotting deep in the north, and that random cheap Fagot ATGM is starting to be annoying. An AMX-10 already taken out, a real RA-50 now most likely being the next target, and yeah, they are not really that amazing, even against AMX-30s. Yes, they do damage, but they don't kill them that quickly. But they are just annoying. Like, they zone you out so well, and that all is done by a cheap 55-point unit. So that is really the bigger problem here for Jake. And yeah, the southern zone is just full of mid and long range weapons now by Medi. SPW trying to go deep, gets killed off by the MX-30 at least, and it's an absolute grind fest here. Classic Medi game for sure. Medi will feel comfortable in here. Question is, can Jake feel comfortable here as well? Or try to get a situation where they feel comfortable once more.
Yeah, Medi is taken the southern zone of Zulu, and even despite the French reinforcements kind of hanging around there, Zeke is investing more into air. I think that's kind of a admission that Zeke is going to have to rely on helicopters a certain amount, or rely on air. And so far, I think the fact that fourth gets coups is going to be a big problem for the French air. The French, of course, get Jaguars, which are good dive bombers, and get other sorts of bombers as well, but likely not taking them. And so far, if this becomes like an actual air fight, I think on the long term, fourth of Medi will have the better positions.
Plenty of voltages in the north though, sniping a CV of Medis, and the airfight in the between the fighters also going Jig's way, getting one MiG-23 killed off with the Mirage F1Cs. So all of that is going decently so far. The spread out situation over the whole front line though is still an issue here for Jig. Not quite as cost efficient, doesn't really have the recon around, doesn't have the infantry around, but Medi has units, it feels like everywhere. It's all weak units, but they are so omnipresent and so obnoxious, so it's hard to counter them. Hind being hunted down by the Jaguar here now, that could be nice. It's pretty damaged, but killing off another Hind here would be really, really helpful. Jaguar down to only 8 rounds though, so it won't be able to get the kill there. The missiles both missed, both Magic missiles, so the Hind will survive to see another day, but it will be getting a bit more damage here on the way in. Or actually,
Though the Parask,
yeah, the TRM 2000 getting the kill there. Important one, really important one. Jaguar now can use its HE bombs maybe on something, and then the trades here really going Jig's way. That is the usual situation, how it often looks for Medi at this point though. Trading annoyance, trading positions for units, and the question is, can Medi find any points with that at some point? AMX-30 is here, still engaging the Sprengtaucher, getting a nice kill there. SPG-9s Might be able to find the AMX-30 though. They have to get out of range here quickly now, but at least they allowed the infantry to get a bit closer in there, and killing off a Sprengtaucher is a nice kill, as that is a special forces unit that can't be replaced endlessly by the fourth Matcherino here.
Yeah, so far the reinforcements from Zeke seem to kind of lean on a aggressive defense with commandos getting ordered with super pumas, more gazelles, and more than just trying to fortify the north and trying to contain this town with which shouldn't be that difficult, honestly. I mean, fourth doesn't have that many weapons to push on over large distances, so defending Alpha is possible. But so far Medi concentrating troops to the town here kind of tells me that at some point Medi wants to just go and drive straight into Alpha.
MiG-23 here, getting killed off once more by the Mirages, as it got caught in a turn, so not able to really retaliate with its missiles there in time. And that means that the Mirages will really have the air superiority. It's down to the Coops now on the ground doing the job against them. Meanwhile, a couple of infantry ground units dying here, but Jig about to get full control over Echo here. Needs to get a CV in there again. The north starts to get cleaned out by the commandos there as well. SPWs being hunted by the Gazelle hot. So that is a good situation here for Jig, as with the two zones in the north and Echo, they would have a tick at hand. The question is just, can Medi threaten Alpha here? Because there's not that much of a defensive line there yet, as Jig constantly tries to get back into the town in the south, but maybe should be more content with being a bit more on the defense there for now.
Yeah, I mean, I really am not. I mean, honestly, I don't know what people would do against. I personally would probably also try to get into the town. You don't want to necessarily be in the town, but you just want to have literally anything at the edge of the town. Like that is a tactically advantageous position. So having the reservists and losing them like that it's not that stupid, because in case you have them there, the spotting capacity and the early warning that they give is massive. But right now it does seem like even more reservists are being brought down there, and I think they should be deployed into a completely different location. There's nowhere near enough fire support to actually start pushing to the town, and and this fire support needs to be kept up. And up north, finally, the tick is ending for the moment, as the one surviving commando team takes a defensive position, and the P4 gets the point. But so far, I think with these Brenuses, this AMX-10 HOTS, and the Roland 2, I think well controlled, these will be able to keep Medi out of Alpha. But Zeke clearly wants to go into the zone, as we can see with the Aufklärer side-shotting the AMX-30 leader. Oh, this is cute, a tragedy at maximum scale.
Oh, it
no,
gets the
with the
kill there.
last hit.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. At the same time, though, the air of Jake really cleaning up. Like, they got a good bombing runs. They got a good couple more helicopters killed. Medi really tried to make the Mi-24Ds work without air superiority. That's always tough to do, and it did backfire here a good bit so far. So I feel like the KD is pretty solid and slightly ahead of Jake, but the position here in the south is still pretty threatening. Though with the north in the hands of Jake and Echo nearly cleaned off, I feel like Jake still should feel fine with the current situation.
Yeah. So far, I mean, we're seeing the reservists are now have landed and are walking under completely spotted, of course, by the Sprengtaukers on long range. So tactically, it's not. I mean, literally a single SPW can just suppress them, and or a single tank can fire at them. So having them walk like this is basically a sign of Zeke of Zeke trying to call the bluff, trying to have the enemy peek out, and then maybe counterattack that enemy with the gazelles and the AMXs.
Yeah, MiG-23 flying a bit deep here though. There is Mistrals on the ground, so it needs to be careful. Mistral's currently walking instead of... Okay, they're not on the tag move. That's a mistake there. Otherwise, could have maybe found a kill there on the MiG-23. What I would like to see from Jig right now is MX auf 1 artillery piece with the quick reload, because that can get rid of the low hit point but high DPS SPG9s and ATGMs in the south quite quickly. But at the moment, it's only direct fire support with tanks and AMX-10s here that try to do the job, and I'm not sure if they can actually break through against the ATGM wall that Medi has set up here.
Yeah, and one more hind going down and cleaning up the eclairers and the reservists here. Zeke really sending kind of how do you say, good money after bad, bad money after bad.
Yeah, we get the kill on the hind though, so that one at least goes down. Roland 2 might be the target of the MiG-23 cluster here, and it's not moving out of it as it tries to retaliate. So it will go down here to that cluster bomber most likely. Oh, barely survives there with the last second sidestep. Yeah, ballsy attack there with the cluster bomber, but it did work out. And yeah, Jig is grinding down a bit too much here. Finally sending the P4 down to start to get the +2. And I feel like cleaning up in the northern area around Echo would be the better way of playing this here, instead of trying to run into Zulu time and again, as up there you already have forces, up there you already have an arc and control, and in the south you don't have any of that. So desperately trying to push through there with direct fire is usually not going to work. Towns are insanely strong points in WARNO. The advantage in stealth and damage reduction that buildings give is really magnificent, and it makes pushing into them a really heavy task.
Yeah, the AMX-30 manages to kill the actually bailed out the T-55 in the town, and but there are so many weapons teams out here that the AMX is going to be taken out at Medi's leisure, basically.
Yeah, another
Yeah,
hind though being hunted down by the Mirages. This time Mirage finally does fall to the coup fire though, as we have 2 coups around now. So yeah, switching over to artillery might be the better decision now from here on out for Jake, as the MX-30s still rotate around. MX-10 RC getting the Feldstürmjäger Medis. Currently have Voltigeurs being involved there as well. MX-30 versus Strela, eating a heavy ATGM side shot there. Yeah, this is just not working out for Jake. Another hit, another kill there. MX-30 goes down, and it's hard to see how Jake wants to break that there. And I don't think it even is necessary. That's the most frustrating part from watching it right now for me, as the center already gives the +2. So reinforcing the north, making Medi push into you would be a lot easier, because fourth is not that strong on the offense in the later stages of games.
Yeah, this kind of an I wouldn't say an obsession, but this need to constantly be on the attack is really feeding into Medi's game, and Medi is like Zeke is constantly giving Medi good fights at the costs of points, and that can snowball badly. We can already see how many more red troops there are compared to blue. Of course, the red troops are often cheaper and so. But even then, the band trades are like they will sneak up on you, especially in a game like this when it's unconventional, when it's cheese. The bad trades will you don't realize it in the moment, but they can just lose the game for you.
Yeah, MiG-23 coming around in the north. We have some Mistrals there still. One of them gets a hit, second one doesn't miss. The trades up here still doing great. the kills on helicopters and so on, like the aircraft did decently well for Jig as well throughout the whole game, gets another kill onto another aircraft. So all of that is fine, but by now the Coop air defense in the south has had time to set up. And yeah, we have two AMX 30 leaders unprotected in the south right now. Either a cluster plane or just infantry sneaking on top of them could do the job there. Jig, at least finding an angle that is less protected there. Infantry is on the way, and it might be there in time. At the same time, though, planes flying into Coop fire here a bit too much for my liking. As yeah, the Coops getting another Mirage killed, Jaguar going down in hit points as well. Those planes should be used in the north. Like, there's no air aid protection in the north. That's really, yeah, that blinders effect, that horse blinders effect with air is just still, in my eyes, one of the biggest issues of any air player in Warno, no matter the skill level. We see it in Division 1, we see it in Division 4, and it always costs them dearly. Airplay still not fully figured out. And only someone like Fortitude Fans getting it a bit better done. But even there, we saw it a couple of times getting a bit too much narrowed on one road.
Yeah, it's too easy to think of them like they are, you know, in like Hearthstone you have removal cards, and I don't know, I don't play Magic, but probably Magic too. You think of it as an asset, a card that you will pull to remove this or that enemy. And that when you think of it like that, you keep sending singular fighters against the front line, and you don't necessarily visualize in your mind where the lines of enemy air defense go. And if you do that, you can actually like fly past, fly behind. You can do all this stuff. And when you're driving, flying towards an enemy air defense, you want to have numerous planes at the same time. And if you treat it like a fireball that you throw at the enemy, that's when it's the least effective usage of airplanes.
Yeah. And we have a +3 though for Jig by now. So Jig is really in the lead in points by now. So they could really switch to defense now. They get a decent couple of trades here now lately in the south, but the plane advantage that they had in the early game has been reduced to rubble and a couple of wrecks on the battlefield. So they need to take those good trades now on the ground. And that might work out. It won't be easy though. Especially as whilst they have thrown so many units in the south, they haven't reinforced the north too heavily, and Medi actually starts to have a decent force there around, with a couple of T-55s, a couple of Conquerors ATGMs, and a bit of infantry. It's not a massive force, but the forces of Jig on the other side are even smaller in number. One Commando, one AMX-10, one super damaged Grenadier Voltigier, and a helicopter. And then a couple of AMXs that need to be desperately repaired as well. So the situation in the north could be deteriorating quite quickly, quite soon. But at least the south is getting a bit better now. Cluster coming in again though. AMX-30B2 most likely dead there. Moving too late once more. And there's no good anti-plane AA here in the south.
Yeah, the T-55s are trying to move in close enough to kill the kill the command tank, but the command tank has been microed in a way that they need to get way closer, and the Gazelle will no, well, the Gazelle won't do anything now, but like even the large armor investment down southeast here seems to be the correct choice here for Zeke so far. Now that now that Medi doesn't really have any in any offensive positions, Medi doesn't really have stuff to invest. Medi probably will get the top zone because it's so lightly defended. But if the fight happens on terms of the mech blob, if the AMX-30s get to fire their autocannons at everything, you know, that's when I think Zeke can take the southernmost zone and trade it for the top zone.
Yeah, MiG-21 still flying around here now, trying to find a target. The MX-30B2 moving out. It would be a really great shot. if that could get killed off here, as that would kill another CV, and we already saw a good couple going down for Jig. In the meantime, the commandos in the north actually holding the position there valiantly and in a really strong fashion. There's only vehicles around them now. They have a strong AT weapon, so especially against the light armored vehicle, and they killed the recon infantry in a 1v1 situation up there. So Maddie needs to find another way of dealing with this, and the +3 here is pretty real for Jake. And yeah, this big tank plop here down south, it's driving a bit too deep though, but it at least gets the Vulture Mega leader killed. And that actually will lead to the +4 situation here. +1 less CV. The Jaguar HE number 1 goes down. Number 2 actually will make it out because the coops are out of ammo. So even those traits not as terrible as they could be this time around, just by the sheer amount of units thrown in there, that Maddie ran out of supply to deal with that. And the MX-30s with their autocannons shredding infantry here as well, and it's a +4 is a 6-minute timer here. Plus will get Jake really far ahead in point.
Yeah, at this point, the Medi was given a bunch of pretty decent engagements, and but despite this, completely lost the north. Medi has a lot of units up north, and I think it's possible with good enough micro and using I think it's possible to divert attention, like personal attention towards the north, and to take Bravo, but that would require Medi to literally divert attention from controlling against his attack. So Medi doesn't have really any strong pockets of troops that can perform any attacks. Even the Alpha zone, completely undefended right now, it's just not tactically feasible.
Yeah, MiG-29 here, trying to come around again. T-55 sneaking around in the south. The armored position here completely annihilated once more. Especially the AMX-10 HOTS, in my eyes, misused. They are long-range killers. You don't want to drive into a town with a ATGM only vehicle. Like with an IFV already, with a big ATGM, it's already a bit questionable. But they at least have an autocannon. An AMX-10P has nothing to offer there. So yeah, it was the wrong decision for sure. Super Pumas here now trying to rotate around with the Gazelle. But the +4 is a real thing here now. 1,200 points now. 14 minutes still remaining on the other side, so it's far from over. But the point advantage here is real. Commandos getting lost to the MGs on top of the T-55 here, most likely though. Both going down. Yeah, Jake just so reckless here in the south. Maddie should find a way to punish that. We see a big push now in the north. Center, we have a Vulture Mega leader coming in and stopping and reducing the tick here. Absolute priority right now, but that should be possible here for sure now. There's no tanks left anymore. The French really down to 2 tanks on the whole map. That is not where you want to be with 5th Blinde at this point in time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Zeke is almost winning the game in just a couple of minutes. The points will be full, and there is so much. There's an RM70. There are a bunch of tanks out for Medi, but Medi doesn't seem to have an actual plan here. The infantry leader is moving into the middle, and that they will probably be pretty powerful, especially when the middle push will be pretty powerful when supported by the RM70. And the attack up north here, I mean, the AMX-30 has took a hit. That's a big deal. I think north is basically, without immediate reinforcements, the north is completely on for Medi. Medi just doesn't know that yet. And the 2 AMX Alpha 1s are targeting...
Oh!
They are targeting, they are trying to counter fire at the push.
The HE bomber in the middle takes out the Vulture Mega leader. That's another CV killed off here by Jake against Medi. And that keeps the +3 alive. Might even go for +4 here again. P4 trying to come in. That might be an overextension though with the Got ATGM ready on top of it. Oh, it dodges it just last second and gets back in there. Milan 2 trying to come around. We have the northern SPW being rotated around a bit so it doesn't drive directly into the commandos. Milan 2 still engaging, the +4 back up, and that is a really hard timer here now. Of 2 minutes 46. But if it gets stopped, Medi still has the chance of turning this around completely because blue is nearly out of units here. We have another SPW being brought in, so there is still 2 CVs, and that might just be enough here to do the job as Jake's forces reduced to absolute rubble. There is next to nothing left here. There's 2 artillery pieces now being brought in, but they coming way too late. They should have been here 15-20 minutes ago. Now they won't help you holding the front line, and this is potentially going to end catastrophically for Jake, though first Medi has to get the CVs in there.
Yeah, I think Medi just realized, both in the middle and up north, Medi's realizing what kind of a numbers advantage he's got, and realizing how far the good trades have carried him.
P4 sneaking in there though. SPW forced to get back in, as otherwise that would be a full capture again. It's a +3 situation once more. It's 1,700 points. Seed plane trying to run in, does miss it though, but the MX of 1 might find the SPW. It gets a hit. It won't find the kill. Okay, that... Oh, will it? Oh my god! Oh, it's so low!
Oh no!
Oh, the last hit. It gets the kill!
No.
The zone never gets captured! 2 minutes timer. There's only 1 CV on the battlefield. There's another one now being brought in. So Medi, at least being classic Medi, has enough CVs around because he knows he will lose some when he sneaks them behind enemy lines. This time around, it's actually Medi being the more straightforward one with this. But yeah, it's 1 minute 48. SPW coming in for the south. It will get there within the next 10 seconds, so that at least will give you 2.5 more minutes. Question is, can Medi even actually get enough points here now to take over the lead from Jake? It's 10 minutes still, that's a good amount of time, but it will also still take a good amount of time to actually turn this around into a take for Medi. +2 situation now. 2-minute timer for Jake. Once fully captured, it will be even more.
BMP1 leader. The BMP1 leader is so slow.
Oh, the SPW under attack by the bomber. Does the Jaguar find the kill? No. Good dodge there by Medi. That would have been devastating. It would have been another zone just barely not captured. SPW had to move out of the zone, but now gets the full capture. 3 minutes 20. This is an intense game number 1 here between these two. The BMP1 leader, yeah, going slowly. We have 3 BMP1 leaders now on the battlefield, so they should get there eventually. And then, yeah, we have the take for Medi, and it might still be enough. Question is just, will they get there in time? A push to Alpha, still not fully out of the question. At the same time though, a push in down south, not out of the question, as a command chasseur coming around there. MX-30B2 being repaired by the TRM in the middle, or at least attempted to be repaired there. TRM actually standing a slight bit too far away. Whilst we have a T-55 moving a bit around in the south. Medi's T-55A there might be able to ambush the chasseur. That would be so massive. Mirage.
Cluster bombs completely missing. The high altitude cluster bombs are easy to dodge if you know what's coming, if you see them, and so the AMX-30 fast AMX-30B2s managed to drive past them.
T-55 doesn't miss. The SPW now trying to rotate around, trying to go to the center, but there is a BMP-1 now as well. +2 situation for Jig now though, as the BMP-1s are still a bit off. It's 50 seconds, 52 seconds here, and it's a couple more points once more for Jake.
The BMP leaders are so slow. Tracked leaders, you always want wheeled leaders. 108 kph, come on.
The artillery shoots where the CV was a couple of seconds ago. It's not there anymore though. And we see a capture of Foxtrot. We're about to get a CV in there. It's only 55 seconds, but it will be stopped here as the SPW is coming around just in time there. And the HE bomber also coming in for the chasseurs will get the kill there. So the +4 will be reverted. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close here. Let's get the calculator starting. If we have 7 times 160, it won't be enough. It won't be enough even with a +4 here. So alpha needs to be taken.
So there is currently 2 wounded tanks, 1 Milan, 1, and that's all the AT. No, more. I think the rest of the tank tab is just driving to alpha right now. 5 tanks coming. That's something I don't think Medi can deal with that. It's too much steel.
Yeah, Jake really just needs to hold that rear zone. What an insane match number 1 here between these two. Yeah, I expected wildness out of Medi, though I feel like the wildness actually came more out of Jake's erratic behavior of moving around the map, which did throw Medi off because Jake also microed the air so well. And yeah, Medi never known for being the strongest air micro player. He usually just uses air as the credit, like the get out of jail card that you were talking about earlier, that removal spell. And yeah, Conqueror's on the sideline though. Might find the MX-30B to... Oh, it's
did not
unfortunate, and the next one will fizzle. So yeah, Medi on a +3. That's not good enough. Medi needs that +8 completely on the battlefield.
No, but the tanks are going. The tanks aren't defending the middle. There's
what the hell, Jake? What the hell? Why? You only... Jake might most likely not realizing that the math is actually in his favor. You don't need to be aggressive here anymore, Jake. Oh, that could be such a big throw. Tanks all moving south. Jake just needs to protect alpha. We see MX-30s rotating around. +4 is now real, but that is just too few points. It's only 800 extra points and a bit now from here on out, and that gets you up to 1,400. So that won't get you the W. It would be 1,600 points if you get alpha though. That would get you the W, but you have to get that quickly now as Medi. Medi not pushing for it though either. Medi not realizing that the math is against him that heavily either. As every CV should just roll to alpha now. The MX-30 under pressure. Roland not finding the kill. Airplanes coming in south. And the MX-30 actually getting into the zone here again.
No,
Reducing it to a +3.
Didn't drop its bombs. That was massive. Could have actually gotten the kill there.
And yeah, still no capture on the alpha point. And reduced income makes the situation even worse here for Medi.
Units are slowly moving in. Damn it.
The CVs are not anywhere close though, and with 3 minutes 50 remaining, I don't believe even if he would capture it now, it would be enough points. As, yeah, Jake just got so far ahead, so it seems like Jake on the way to win this in game number 1 here. What a intense match. A really wild airport game for sure. And a crazy back and forth between these two.
If so when people cheese against you, I think it's very a certain kind of player, myself included, when you're looking at the game and somebody cheeses you, you want to get the power back. You want to cheese them back. You wanna also be unpredictable, and that's when you can get into a mindset of, well, I am doing, this is my counter cheese. I am going to brute force this unlikely position. I'm going to do this, that, or the other, and I think that can work against you and have you actually play in a suboptimal way and trade badly. But in this case, I think it just by the skin of his teeth, I think Cheeks Cheek's counter aggro, especially up north, really paid itself back.
There was still a decent amount with the push, with sneaky units on the side. Like it was not insane amounts of cheese that we have seen from Maddie in the past, but that was also more down to Maddie actually taking a lot of bad trades early on. Otherwise, we would have seen more of this. Maddie for sure tried to make the game as annoying and as obnoxious for the enemy as possible. It's yeah, and just being everywhere all at once, but it didn't quite work out here in the end. CV of Maddie actually goes down as well. It's only a +6, and even if it would be a +8, it just wouldn't have been enough at this point anymore. So GGVP here to Jake. The game, the state of the game right now doesn't look like it, but it is a well-deserved victory thanks to the plays in the early game and the push. Yeah, the plays in the air, the push in the selves were a bit weird. That's why this game is so close here right now in the end. But they came through at some point good enough to recapture it as well, getting up to that +4, and that's what decided this game. Maddie a bit too slow reacting in the north with the recapture, and the BMP ones, yeah, taking a bit too long as well. So well-deserved victory here in game number 1 for Jig, even though it was an absolutely wild game. And yeah, it was like, yeah, Maddie being in the boots of the guy with the 2-1 KD nearly this time around that loses the game. Not the usual position for our Swedish player here, but yeah, fantastic game and nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree, and frankly, I'm kind of excited to see the second game. Now we're going back to Vertigo Duel.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm excited for this as well. We're gonna go into a short break, and then we're gonna be back with that. So yeah, quick break. So yeah, game number 2, Maddie versus Jake, and we have a classic Maddie division on the right side here. Once more, Jake bringing around the 27th guards, bringing it with a forward supply point. So being relatively conservative, big boy setup, 27th guards, absolute high tech unit setup, and then on the other side, Maddie coming around here with KDA.
Absolute low tech setup.
Yeah, all the low tech stuff, all the reservists, but yeah, enough bodies there to spam, just rolling forward, zerging the enemy here to death. And yeah, one of my favorite divisions of all time. Maddie plays it quite a bit different than I do, but I always enjoy watching Maddie playing KDA, so I'm hyped to what comes up here. And yeah, let's have a look here on the left side. How is Jig preparing for this here?
Zig is doing, once again, pretty standard conservative opener, no more than 2 BMP3s, both of them going to the middle, actually. So obviously wanting to contest the opener, predicting Medi is going to take the middle because the middle is so powerful. The ability to fire on your enemy's reinforcement line when they're moving from backline Charlie to Bravo. So Zeke already preparing by positioning these BMP3s and their infantry. Bunch of Spetsnaz is going into the Citadel. BRDM is going north of Point, and outside of that, just pretty standard Motostärke Metis and some Hinds. Most likely Hinds also to take out whatever breakthroughs, UAs, cheaps, war crime cheaps, whatever the tactic is coming from Medi. This is a defensive and versatile, but also expensive opener coming from Zeke. And on the if Zeke manages to play this into the late game, the Sklad Nabzenia will likely be extremely value because the way that KDA assaults positions is with mass charges generally, and if you can grad or artillery those down, that like KDA can't really do that much against it except counter battery you, and now whereas Medi is taking a heavy first of all taking the south for free because the single motor Rasvedka BMP, Rasvedka BMP2, very good unit, expensive unit. So if you're taking those, they are an investment, and you can't just send them blindly somewhere where they can be killed. You're
It's
paying
slightly
extra
better
for both of them.
MiG-23 here for Jig, winning the first air engagement against Maddie's number 1 MiG-23, but Maddie having 2 of them. and the other one being stressed out should win the second engagement here now. Not lucky with the first couple of missiles, but yeah, there gets the kill. So rightfully deserved victory there. Hunting down helicopters now as well. The AA Hind turned the wrong way, so the E-Class can only fire on the way out after they're stressed out already. But both sides' Hinds stay alive for now after that MiG-23 duel. And it's a pretty clear opener here. And yeah, Maddie going heavily for the south, but staying relatively defensive in the north. Having a CV for all sides, whilst Jig only having one for the north. Having to be more concentrated because everything in 27th costs a slight bit extra. The most, or the second most expensive division on the packed side. Maybe just behind 119th, maybe even ahead of 119th, because whilst they get expensive tanks, they get cheaper support units there in 119th.
Yeah, so the BMP3s didn't find anything to shoot, so they are just kind of sheepishly unloading into the middle. I personally think this is a situation where I personally would start taking risks and would drive east to get these forest line positions. You can watch the reinforcement route with the BMPs. It's so powerful, and especially with the amazing 2,800 range of the BMP3 missiles. They are very good on defense, and I think that's what's gonna happen. But Zeke is gonna be less gonna be less reckless about it and send the Spetsnaz first.
Yeah, we see the MiG-24P trying to land there. MiG-23 gets the kill, but gets killed off by the counter MiG-23. MiG-29 coming around now, as we see a siege plane coming in from Medi, shooting down and with its gun another helicopter as well. So both sides losing a helicopter, both sides... No, only one side losing planes here. So that's pretty bad for Jake, losing the MiG-23 and the MiG-29. And at the meantime, Medi has the south, giving air dominance to KDA. Not a good idea. They have a lot of air support with MiG-23s, MiG-21 bombers, and so on. Yeah, MiG-23s flying around, like all that stuff coming into your face. You don't want to have that, so you need to keep your AA around. If you lose your fighters, then we now need more AA, and yeah, that's exactly what Jig is getting. We see triple Eagle Eye here coming in. That is a good investment here right now. Absolutely enjoying that, and also liking the push right now in the north. That is necessary. Realizing, yep, there is a lot of forces of Formedi in the south. That should give me the advantage in the north. Let's press that advantage.
Yes, remember the law of Warno dynamics. In all unit concentrations have their equal and opposite on existing unit diffusions. So when you notice that they have a couple of extra units down south, that's immediately your green light to start pushing the rest of the map to find out where the gaps are. And the gaps are immediately where the blue troops are right now.
Yeah, BTR 80s and BMP3s rolling forward. RKHM trying to roll around. BRDM in the north, scouting forward as well. Might find two of its brothers in the form of the SPWs here, of the East German variant. Shooting it down, 2v1, obviously big advantage there. And yeah, the BRDM will get shut down, but the rest is going well so far. Good push here by Jake. Will equalize the tick and give some breathing room here for 27th, which 27th can use here because they need to get more build-up going. Double Hind, actually, flying around here in the rear. Mi-24V and K. I think the K is still the original one that just got repaired. The Mi-24V AA must be the original one as well, as they only get one per card. So, yeah, Jake here trying to get sneaky on the side. I'm not liking that though, as that's away from the AA umbrella, and the fighter advantage is on Medi's side right now.
Yeah, so far this seems to be kind of the units that Medi is bringing out are not units that can necessarily do offensives. These Conquerors, these weapons teams, even the motorshoots, and these are these are capable of kind of slugging it out against the BMP3s on long range. And it's also good. good thing to not have too many vehicles, considering that the ATGM missiles are both accurate and numerous and fast and difficult to micro against. But so far, it really seems that I mean, T-64s are coming in for the KDA, but outside of this, doesn't seem like there's that much here that can counterattack from Medi. Medi does hold the south pretty convincingly, but the Zeeks and the 27th advantage here is that their firepower is both concentrated and mobile.
Yes, and we see the BMP2 in the south being pushed back by the Conquerors, so the south really is pretty secure right now. We finally seen another MiG-29. It loses the duel against the MiG-23 though. Yeah, 1v1 fight's always a bit risky between somewhat similar fighters. The MiG-29 slightly better on the in the stats,
Everything.
but that doesn't really secure you a victory with the die roll situation. So Tunguska though opening up against the Heinz, and the amount of Iglas now securing the Heinz of Jig as well, with a couple of AA pieces on Medi's side already going down, and that Hind push from the north now could be relatively devastating. And if Jig can push into the rear zone here, into the +2 zone, then Medi is in a world of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are. I think the viewer might recognize the KDA from the 10v10 games that they play, where KDA tends to build and build and build and build and build until they have an immense amount of troops on board and can finally start moving out. That is because outside of, like, I think PT-76s, which are very weak, there's and the SPW recon cars with KPVT machine guns, like outside of those, not a lot here that can actually have mobile firepower. If you want to have cross these vertigo map areas, you want to cross these distances, you want to have mobile fire superiority, suppressing the enemy and driving them back, and KDA just cannot bring that. KDA needs to start building up artillery. They need to start. They already have a nice network of ATGMs and recon and such, but they need to have more heavy weaponry on board, and then they need the numerous troops on the ground to be supported by the fire superiority. And both of these do take time. Medi has a 79 point advantage, which is nice, but the momentum is totally with Zeke here, I think.
Yeah, Zeke losing both helicopters though in the north, partially due to a MiG-23 doing a good job, as the Tunguska by now is out of missiles, so it couldn't help out those Hinds, and partially also because they had to fly back and ran into the really quite nice holdout of SPWs and Aufklärers in the north that shut down the helicopters as well with their great 14.5mm autocannons or machine guns. You could argue either way if those are autocannons or machine guns. So machine guns is more...
The machine guns, they're not the other guns.
Well,
I am making the decision.
I have seen Soviet and Russian people argue both ways in striking.
Yeah, they're wrong. It's a machine gun.
And then more 20mm firing against the Fagot in the south now. We see
the first MLRS is brought out, the BM24M, the quite rare obsolete MLRS system.
Yeah, we see Iglas now opening up against the MiG-23s as well, trying to get the kill there. Not able to find it though. T-26 is here moving around. BMP3 gets killed off. 2 BMP3s going down to the T-62s. T-62s doing a good job there, being price efficient killers for the BMP3s. One of the few units that really does that in a decent price range, because they have the same ATGM and more survivability, so they can deal with BMP3s quite nicely. The Hirungs pushing in now in the north as well. Rocket artillery from the M24M coming in, doing decent damage, not killing so much though. And yeah, this push still pretty costly for Medi. Like, a lot of red units dying here right now, but it gets the +1 and potentially the +2 tick here up again in a second.
Yeah, the slow tank moving in here and surviving to this position is both pretty good control and pretty good luck here. And I think an underrated little maneuver here is that two squads of KDA Schutzen are moving straight from down south to the middle citadel into a position where nobody currently spots them. Unless they are spotted by the Spetsnazvedka. The BTR, no, now the BTR moved. The BTR was hugging the wall and did not see them. And unfortunately, now the KDA push will be less sneaky.
Yeah, we see SU-24 seed coming around, but there's no unit with radar turned on right now. The Tunguska only using its missiles. The Strellas don't have a radar signature, so the seed gets shut down there without achieving anything. Mi-8 helicopter trying to help out, getting a bit of damage done, but the Tunguska already on the hunt there, so it has to be careful. Another MiG-23 here flying a bit close to the sun, as we have an RKHM and a T-80 BVK being brought in to retake the north. Issue for Jig is just that even with the northern alpha point taken, Delta and Charlie are still a problem, and Medi has a decent setup there for sure to hold the ground there. So to get a tick and get ahead of Medi again, either heavy assault on the south needs to be done or heavy assault on Foxtrot, and both isn't easy.
Yeah, I think we'll say, a massive side shot to the T80 BV. That's a big deal, and a critical with an ammo explosion as well. That was a big hit here.
Oh, and it gets another shot and gets the kill! The T80 goes down! That's a massive kill for T62. Really trying to show its brethren that it still can be a decent tank, even in 1989. What is with all those modern Soviet tanks? Why did you not build more of me, huh? T62 there showing its prowess with that side shot, getting the kill. And really important kill here for Medi. That could absolutely change the outcome of this game here. That single kill on a super important tank.
Yeah, I was just gonna comment on the fact that the T80s are mobile. That when Zeke saw a push coming from down south, the BTRs and the T80s moved down there to take the shots and then moved back up. This is the kind of tactical maneuvering that cannot be done by Medi's side, because Medi doesn't really have the units there. Even the T62s, for their limited qualities as a tank, the most limiting one is the 45 kph speed. That is just unforgivable. It is, if it gets shot at, it cannot run, and it only has 11 armor.
Yeah, KDA Schützen once more trying to assault the middle. Once more finding an enemy unit in position there, though the Hind actually not sure about its position. Yeah, trying to run away from the MiG-23s. Trying to call them closer to the AA. Tunguskas and Strellas not able to find the kill though, and another Hind being shut down, and every single one of these expensive units being shut down is a bit more time bought for Medi to get more defenses ready, to get more artillery in, and get the spam part going, whilst Jig needs that combined arms to function. And that combined arms is expensive, so taking out tools like that buys you more time to get the grind set on here as KDA.
Yeah, the fact that the KDA troops have managed to get into the citadel, to the warehouse area, that is a massive change here in the positions on the board. The fact that if KDA can start fortifying these, if they can actually hold this means that Zeke cannot aggressively start pushing Foxtrot without a counterattack towards his own flank.
Yeah.
So capturing this middle, having the troops there on the middle, completely changes the mood of the game here.
BDR-80 going down to some ATGMs here. Conquerors opening up fire onto the Strela. 10 M3 gets the kill there. Another expensive unit bites the dust. That is super important against the possible air spam that the KDA can throw your way. We have some SPWs here. The BTR-80 at home on the side of Medi as well. The 152K. It can house a lot of units. It somehow has armor. It somehow has an MG. It doesn't really do that well, but it can be decent for repositioning, and it can be annoying against infantry with It's limited 7mm, but at least it can do some damage there. Meanwhile, Mi-26, big mama chopper, getting in the rear, resupplying the big rockets, the Changos rockets here of the BM-24M. Not the most accurate, not the fastest firing, but when they land, those 240mm rockets do damage. And yeah, it will be trying to get another shot off here eventually.
Yeah, so the engagements here in the middle are Conquerors getting max range engagements and KDA getting to shoot at infantry units from buildings. So this is reasonably good actually for Medi. And Medi has a D20 artillery gun doing counter battery at the Nonas, the tightly packed Nonas, doing damage to the two of them.
And we see KDA Schützen being under fire. T62MV rotating around. And D20s being brought in as artillery as well. It's a big arc around everything from Medi here, trying to kind of pocket in the high quality units of the 27th, but just abusing the cheap units here, spamming units from everywhere, spamming ATGMs from everywhere, finding some BTRs, finding some BRDMs. And BTRs, in most divisions, you feel like they are kind of free units. BTR 80s actually cost a bit. Like, they are not that cheap, so losing them still kind of hurts. They have smoke and so on, so they are pretty versatile as well, but just throwing them away into a single ATGM doesn't feel that great. MiG-23 in the north at least gets shut down. That Aufklärer up north, absolutely relevant here, giving a lot of insight. We finally have a Grud on the side of Jig as well, and that has a forward supply point next to it, so it can just fire freely away. That might be helping here in the situation, but at the moment, I really like Medi's position in this game.
Yeah, if you zoom out, you can see that there is a mega concave being built around Zeke's troops, and if Zeke's aggressively needs to break out of
Oh,
this.
the BM-21 was too close to the forward supply point. Counter battery from the big Chungus guns comes in here.
Oh no!
The
Wow.
forward supply point might die to the counter battery. It is still alive, but yeah, that's why you usually don't park your artillery next to your forward supply point. Both survived, luckily, but that could have been devastating. Tungusias and Strelas hunting MiG-23s. MiG-23s hunting T-80BVs. They are absolutely shit. They have only 35% accuracy, but they are also absolutely expendable. 155 points for a fast flying plane that sometimes can kill a T-80BV is quite nice. And yeah, it goes. One of them goes down here. The of Jig, relatively low still though, but we at least see 5 T-80BVs by now on the battlefield, and that starts to become a worrisome amount of T-80BVs.
Yeah, 5 is something that if you attack that with all of them reasonably together, not stacked, but reasonably together, if they can fire at a single T-62, the T-62 is dying. If they can fire at a Conquerors, the Conquerors is at the very least getting stunned. And that starts to be the critical mass that can break through anything here. Bad luck, bad dice rolls happening with the MiG-23s, but the AT planes really are one of the only solid hard counters to the T-80s, and the secondary hard counter here needs to be the ATGMs and the concave formation, the side shots and kind of exploiting any kind of overextensions that are coming from Zeke's side. That needs to be the goal here, because the weapons alone are not going to do it.
Yeah, and killing all the support around it. D-30s trying to hunt down for some infantry. Spetber Dredka being caught out in the open down there. They should have stayed in the building, trying to push there.
That's a big loss, actually. No other recon units nearby.
Yeah, they might be able to get back into the building, might be able to get back into cover. Oh, down to 2 hit points. The KDA and the Zagra Dotradia getting overwhelmed down there.
Aggravator, yeah.
KDA Schützen being stunned down. The TADBVK and BV doing a good job, but Conqueror is here now, finding the kill into a leader. TVADBV side shot really helping out there. This concave of Medi absolutely key. And here comes another MiG-23 with another ATGM. Actually going for the Tunguska, ballsy but efficient, gets the kill there, and leads to even less AA, means that you have to worry even less in the future. Double Grut on the side of Jig, but not with any targeting happening right now. And the MiG-23 comes in again, doesn't find anything this time around. Strela flies behind it, gets a hit, so that MiG-23 is out for a while. TADBV goes down to the Conquerors though. The side shot ATGM is just so scary down here. And we see a GG. It's done by the KDA. KDA victory. What a victory.
The formation, it's too powerful. You can't beat the concave, no matter how good your units, no matter how much you stack these autoloader equipped T80s. Just, it's too much. 2,600 meter range, and then you have some in a conquerors in a tree line, like in a different zip code, just sees your side and destroys you. This is the reality of modern warfare. Like, actually, this is the reason why tank charges, tank blobs are not really a thing. Oh, okay, well, let's be honest, they shouldn't be a thing, but they absolutely are still a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, MiG-23s getting good kills there in the sky. That was part of the victory condition there. And then T-62s, that important kill on the TADBV, really stopping the death ball from getting into the movement too early. And then Medi had enough time preparing, had enough time getting the every bits and bobs into the right position, and yeah, coming forward. So GGVP, Medi equalizing the score here, and we once more go into a decider match. I'm really excited for that, guys. And yeah, once more, quick shout out here to matcherino for all of you who want to support the tournament and yeah, help out funding the prize pool. Thanks for all the support already. $321 is pretty amazing, but maybe we can make it a bit more, guys. Let's see. Also, thanks for all the follows. Thanks for all the subscriptions over the last couple of weeks again. Great to have you all here. If you have a Prime laying around, maybe, or you want to support the channel with a subscription anyways, feel free to leave that here. Would be much appreciated. And yeah, helping out, keeping this all running here. And with that said, we're gonna go into a quick break, and then we're gonna be back with game number 3. And here we return, everybody. The final game between Medi and Jake. The decider game of who makes it into Division 1. Will Medi return there, or will Jake make it in there? As it's down to 2 legs here. It's down to 5th Blinde on the left side versus Medi's 39th.
Not 5th Blinde.
11th.
It's 11th Femboy.
Yeah, 11th parachutist versus Medi's 39th. So that's a pretty standard division, surprisingly for Medi. I would have expected it the other way around, but we're gonna see what Jake can do here with the Blue Forces. What do you think of Medi's setup so far?
Medi's setup, I originally thought that this was going to be a recon rush, but the Grenzers are just very, very good value for 40 points, and recon units for 40 points, amazing value. Of course, they don't have any AT weapons, but you can have them all around the corner. There's also a notably the electronic warfare helicopter, the recon chopper the jammer chopper, and with the 40% ECM, and outside of this, seems to be pretty defensive. Seems to very notably want to fight for Oscar. Troops are going into Oscar. We're talking Plumia 30mm grenade machine guns. We're talking Saperi and Saperi RPOs with BTRs. And this seems to be like, first, I mean, you said the 39th is standard. 39th is a standard division on the abstract, yes, but in this meta, very rarely seen. Likely because it doesn't really do any specific thing better than the others, but it's very versatile. So if I think it's possible that there's the standard 39th jammer the standard 39th jammer chopper opener with the Su-25 ground attack planes following them. I think that is a possibility, considering there's a lack of heavy AA on the 11th Airborne, and really good fighters for the 39th also. But so far, so two plane opener with the chopper. I think this is an air deck, and wanting to play very defensively, to scale into the late game, and possibly to fight, kind of take positions right outside the town, maybe, where these Plamias and these 50 cal machine guns can do their damage, because the French infantry does not have light ATGMs such as the Metis or Dragons. They only have the Milan ones weapon teams, which just gives them slightly less anti-vehicle capacity at medium range, even though the French, of course, have the absolutely the best close range infantry AT weapons.
Yeah, we see ARC-90 engaging versus the Grancer. We don't see any helicopters on either side, outside of that Mi-8 MT, which is seemingly really more as a recon unit here. Somewhat survivable against any Mistrals, so that can be quite helpful. And we see the first Su-24HE coming around, trying to get a bomber
High
run through.
altitude bomber.
Yeah, high altitude bomber with not the best reputation in the community, as it also flies like an absolute prick when it tries to get out again. So against anything with decent AA, it is usually dead on the way out, though that decent AA is not really available in Jig's division. So that might work out here. Oh, sending in a single Mirage 1FC 200 there was a big mistake against two fighters. Even if you catch them on the turn, 1 versus 2 is just too risky of an engagement, and it didn't work out there. Mirage F1C immediately going down, and that's already a good couple of losses here for 11th. But
Yeah,
the ERC on the side at least holding out nicely.
Yeah, there was a position there. Zeke had the chasseur para, and if they had been a couple of meters further down south, they could have actually sideshot the reinforcement, the Saperi pushing into the town, but they couldn't do that, and now the Superior are taking very preferential engagements against the Legionnaire para.
Yeah, we see more Legionnaire paras rolling in. We see Saperi and Saperi OPOs against beating the Legionnaire paras in the north, though. But the BTR got killed off by those Legionnaire paras, so Jig at least will get a +2 here for a while. That can be helpful in the long run. Like, Two Lakes can be a map that grinds down. We have seen that before. In this matchup, maybe a bit less likely, but that lead that will get generated here right now still could be helpful. CV of Jig getting killed down by the BTR 60s, though, so the next CV getting in there will capture it again fully for Medi.
Yeah, within the reinforcements from Zeke's side are fully into just fighting, brute forcing this through Legionnaire paras and Paramarine. Amazing, possibly some of the best infantry units in the game, considering the price and so on. But the and the availability especially, and the Sagai Recon actually in a good position to fire at the to drive off the grenade machine guns that have been bombarding and suppressing the Legionnaire units in the town. But meanwhile, oh no, I think the Chasseur Para is going to get spotted by the Mi-8, and the rocket helicopter will be able to take it out. I think this, unless this Mistral moves forwards, I think this rocket helicopter is going to do horrible work, because, as we should all remember, buildings do not do any damage reduction to rockets anymore. So rocket planes can just very efficiently, with singular salvos, make even the best infantry squads completely incapable.
Yeah, we see a kill against the BTR 60s now in the north again. We see the Mi-8 MTs rotating around again. Para Marines and Legionnaires para rotating around again in the town. It's a pretty strong position now for Jig. And we see the helicopters coming in, the air for sure an advantage for Medi, but not being used that efficiently yet. And if enough Mistrals can go up there, it still is going to be painful to fly in there. Mistral getting hit
SU
against the Su-27 in the south, engine fire dealing even a bit extra damage, so that thing has to evacuate soon. In the meantime, CV finally coming in for the north again. Oh, I believe even on both sides? No, only on the side of Medi, so the tick might get stopped soon. But it's a pretty successful start so far for Jig there in the north.
Yeah, the sending in wave after wave after wave of infantry into the towns means that that infantry can be hard countered. The hard counter is generally something like artillery, or in this case, rocket helicopters. Second rocket helicopter with the heavier 80mm S8 Com rockets already in position, and as outside of sending in fighters, I don't think there is a way that can really permanently remove the threat of these rocket helis, because even a Mistral does actually get in. So a Mistral did actually get into the suicide spot of the tower, where every enemy unit can spot them, and the 50 caliber machine guns take them out. But they did go down fighting, taking down a very crucial kill against a rocket helicopter.
Yeah,
You want
ERC
to prevent?
Sagai finally falling to the BMP2 push on the side. We have more Sagais pushing in around in the north at the same time though. BTR 60 trying to push into the zone. The infantry of Medi has been pushed out, but the vehicle fights currently going a bit better for Medi on the outskirts of the town. Su-24 trying to come in with another HE run. There are still some Mistrals around though. And the BMP2 gets taken out by the Gazelle Cannon. Gazelle Cannon once more rotating around, trying to get a bit more damage. Grants are under fire this time. Whilst we see engagements in the north, infantry getting attacked by the ERCs, BMP2s in the south, cleaning up a bit as well. It's still an absolute grind fight here in the town. Good kill against the Su-24.
Su-24 just underwhelming. It's too easy to micro against it. It's good to basically remove small towns in a moment, but it's just high altitude bombers. The time that it takes for the bombs to go down is so long that most units can be ordered to move away from them.
BMP1 rotating away. Mirage 2000 versus Su-25. Coming in, getting the kill.
Ooh.
Good action there. Su-25 and
Coob
Ural.
wasn't a move order, so the Coob didn't fire. No, always move your AA in
Oh,
hunt
Coop
order.
gets the kill on the way out though. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. But also, always move your AA with hunt order so that they will stop and fire if an enemy flies past. This is basic. You gotta remember that.
Yeah. Legionnaire Paras versus Saperis and Motostrelkis in the north. Getting up versus 1 versus 3 though. This time Legionnaire Paras will lose that fight. They will need more reinforcements to get the numbers back up into their favors. Paramarine, fantastic infantry. Got nerfed a bit in the latest patch, so that they're slightly more expensive and slightly lower availability on 1 vet, though they still have the 5 vet on availability on 2 vet, which makes them still pretty scary, as that didn't get reduced. And that means with 4 cards of them, you still get 20 high veterancy, high power level infantry with Apilas, meaning that every vehicle has to stay away. Eaglas coming forward here. BMP still sitting around, but the +2 here pretty strong for Jig so far. And yeah, Medi playing a pretty standard game for their standards. Obviously with air superiority, but that's just good play against 11th Para, because you don't want to get bombed by those French Jaguars. And you can overwhelm their air quite well if you have decent fighters like Su-27s. But the question is, how will this town be assaulted? Maybe artillery could be the way, but we don't see anything like that just yet. Maybe more BMPs around the whole town could be the way to just choke it off. but it won't be easy to fully get this back under control.
Yeah, I think standard way you want to go in through two of there are four entry roads, and so you want to go from two at the same time, so you get a wider front in there, and you're not as easily countered or bombarded. But right now it seems like the sides of the town are pretty solidly held by BMPs. There's an T80BV as well as a bunch of Plamias to have to work as extra fire support. The 35 point Plamia at 1,400 rage and a high rate of fire can suppress and do good damage if you allow it to stay behind the lines, as like with your BMPs and with your T80s. Generally, it's a defensive unit, but in this case, it's basically doing siege work here.
Yeah, we see more AML60s and ARC Sagais rotating around. Motostrelkis with more BMP2s coming around. Milan 1s going down. Rocket artillery still not be seen here. No howitzers on the side of the 39th. We see one smoke mortar most likely coming around. So you need... I'm not sure if you actually want to use that. Maybe it's just going to be used as a normal mortar, just slowly grinding down the enemy. Because you actually want to have your fire support usually firing instead of being smoked off. And there's not that much fire support on the side, even though Jake has invested into a decent amount of vehicles here with the AML 60s. So yeah, we'll see what Medi will do with that. Ooh, LGB finds the kill onto the BTRCV again, and the +2 for Jake will continue here.
Yeah, I think I think the despite the +2 or the +1 here, the unavoidable fact that 39th has heavy MBTs and 11th does not, and if these heavy MBTs are allowed to be brought on board, and if once again the critical mass of them that if the critical mass exists in one moment and pushes through, that's you're not going to be able to destroy it. You need to prevent it from happening. And so far, not a lot of good positions for Zeke to attack the T80s.
Yeah.
Or the T80.
SU-27 flying around in the north. Para Marines being overwhelmed. Mistral getting a hit. BMP2 trying to still hold the flank here on the side, but this game is still going in the favor of Jake when it comes to the game plan, though Jake needs to be careful to not maybe extend here now with those vehicles. Trying to bully the Saparis is a clever idea, and there's no AT really anywhere, no Moto Strelkies or anything in this town right now, so the bullying actually really can go ham. And that's pretty scary for Med-E right now. Saparis being pushed back. The ML60s and VLRAs have decent damage output with their 60mm HE guns. So the Saperi RPOs here taking a lot of damage, and you need those to keep the control over the French infantry. Your normal Motostrelkies will lose those fights. Important kills with some BMPs on some reinforcement units here. So that is helpful, but at the same time the Saperi RPOs in the town die, and the T80BV goes down as well.
A very crucial hit by the Coob, actually Coob gaining a level up by killing the LGB plane, and that is one of the main ways to destroy these heavily armored NBTs is just off now. Just not there. Do they get 2 per card? LGBs? I don't think so.
No, they don't get 2 per card anymore. They only get 2 cards of 1 each. Those can be beaten by SU-27s, those can be beaten by Coobs. Mi-8 MT goes down, and the Sagais and AML-60s now getting overwhelmed. RPG-22 trying to deal with more Sagais here on the side. And we see one P4 PC sitting in the rear. The BMP-1 is trying to get the kill there. And yeah, it's the units did overextend here in the end by Jake. He should have retreated after getting a couple of kills, didn't do so, so the BTRs and BMPs were able to kill it off. Another Mirage goes down here, and we still have 25 minutes remaining, so yeah, the situation is still absolutely manageable if Medi starts to get control over the north here. The defense in the south, not that amazing for Jake. I'm still surprised. Yeah, there we go. Finally, the Grud is on the battlefield. The Grud most likely will kill the P4 here. And that is the units that I feel like make the difference in this game. Grud's helping out here, starting to get the kill onto the P4. And P4 trying to disengage. Might actually make it out alive. Oh, that's so lucky there by Jake. So the +1 tick does continue for a slight bit longer.
It's almost visible by the Motora Svedka. But not quite.
Yeah, we have another Hind flying around, trying to get rid of the P4 and the units, but there's still the 3 Miskrals. So they will push the Hind back. Medi always a bit over-eager trying to get Hinds out. Like we saw that last game. There they got killed off. That was maybe like the weakest part of that play with the KDA. And here once more they get shot up pretty badly. The Grad rotating a bit closer to the front line now will get reloaded. And yeah, the CV of Medi out of the zone again. So still not a full capture here. The +2 still continues for Jake.
So that was the what second wave of Soviet infantry being driven out by the third or fourth wave of Zeke's infantry. But so far, I mean, the tech advantage, the Grad is on the field, the two helicopters are back there, the BMP2s are safely outside of the engagement range of the Legionnaires. So the Legionnaires are good units, but they can't beat all of this. Legionnaires were the strongest in the opener, and now they are progressively getting less and less strong the more heavy weaponry Medi is bringing out on board here.
Yeah, we need the Grad. Oh, the Grad doesn't get reloaded. That's a mistake. Yeah, the Grad needs to get reloaded. We see a setup for a push in the south at the same time, as Medi also brings up the Saperi Comrade back into the zone. Saperis with the TNT will beat the Legionnaires and the other infantry in the CQC engagements as well, thanks to that satchel charge stunning them down, but not if they run in 1 versus 3. And yeah, that didn't work out there. BTRs still trying to get some side engagements here though. Getting decent amount of HE damage going on. More Saperis will rotate forward, more Motostrelkis coming in. Akatsia being brought in to deal with the situation in the south. And we have a real aggression now from Medi going on towards the southern zone. Mistral under fire. Legionnaire Paras there, somewhat isolated. And Medi already with a good, nice rotation around this place. So yeah, this position is in a decentish spot.
Yeah, I think this, as long as the bridgehead is there to reinforce and keep bringing the troops, the 39th has an excellent infantry tab filled with good choices, high veterancy units, BTRs to give you extra fire support. All of this will keep stacking up, and Zeke needs to aggressively, constantly attack here and not allow the situation to calcify. Because if Medi is given the chance, Medi will build a force that the airborne just can't defend against.
Yeah, BMPs still engaging here.
Oh, but hey, wait, hold on. The second town, there's an encroachment to the second town. Medi is in the town now.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, damn. Oh, I'm
yeah, Sagai's coming up here to try to deal with that. At the same time, Yago HE getting shut down. We have the Motostrelki getting back in there. Yeah, that was the town I was talking about. Like the Medis there getting shut up. We have Sagai's trying to save the situation, but yeah, Medi has the units in there. CV needs to be brought forward. TADBVK on the way. And at the same time, P4 in the north could get killed off. Akatsuya and Rat really could be more active. Hopefully Medi doesn't forget about those units, as we have a SU-25 on hunt order on the Sagais, and the Mistral's reduced to 1, so those Sagais are easy hunting now. BMP2 is already doing a fantastic job, and if the south gets broken, you can easily push to Alpha, and that's really the super scary part here for Jig now, as with a +2, Medi equalizes the score really quickly here. So yeah, TADBVK already on the way. Legionnaire Power still a bit annoying. Mistral there, still pretty annoying as well. As the SU-25 takes a hit there, needs to get home most likely. Actually will try to get a run in here. That's risky behavior, but Maddie isn't always a risk taker. The SU-27 flying around as well. Mistral gets another hit into the SU-25. SU-25 most likely gets out before the Mistral can fire another time though. And the TADBVK is rolling in here towards the zone. Helicopter holding against the Sagais in the north, though it seems like Jig is getting that northern town under control again.
Yeah, I don't know, the rocket planes here are, the rocket helicopters now taken out, and the BTRs are doing good damage, so it is the Medi's guys are not going down without a fight, and of course the Grad is trying to snipe out the P4, which once again survives this this barrage. But yeah, I mean, the southern town has now completely been taken over, and there is virtually nothing between the southern town and Alpha.
Yeah, we see more units being brought in here. A P4 is still sitting there, and a couple of Legionnaires. A helicopter here could be really helpful for Medi, maybe, instead of bringing more in the north, but another Mi-24V in the north it is instead. As more Saparis have been brought in here as well, so the CV of Medi at least should survive in there, but pushing to the P4 won't be that easy, though actually that's the last Legionnaire Para in there as well, so Medi might actually win on both flanks here. Jaguar HE trying to come in, but there is a good amount of AA here. And yeah, Legionnaire goes down, Coop and Igla engaging. Mi-24V AA coming up.
Oh, what a massive air hit, and
Yeah.
what was barely won by Medi was immediately destroyed by the Jaguar.
At the same time, though, the Jaguar goes down, so that leaves less tools in the late game. The second Jaguar, oh my goodness, it most likely will get out. No, it gets shut down last second. SU-27 there, firing nearly all its missiles on it, but in the end does get the job done. And that's less tools here in a game that already is going down south for Jake, with Medi still having 17 minutes remaining to get the job done. A Puma sneak here on the side for Jake, trying to get into the rear zone, trying to get a capture done. But Medi is now on the push. SU-27 coming in. Gets hit by the Mistral, so it will be pushed out once more. SU-27 number 2 coming in for the strafing run as well, though. We have a Milan P4 still trying to get some shots done. Not successful with that yet, though. Mistral nearly out of ammo. Ooh, Jaguar trying to come in again. Gets shut down as well, but gets the BMP-1 KR at least. But yeah, yet another tool destroyed. Yet another tool taken out. The Puma, though, gets the landing done. So annoyance from Jake still happening. Hopefully Medi realizing that soon. A +4 for too long would still be really frustrating at this point. Puma actually got shut down by BTR, but the +2 still is an issue.
Yeah, this is. I mean, there's how many leaders has Medi lost? Medi has been using a lot of infantry leaders, I think, and infantry leaders. No, it's once again no. It's my greatest opponent, the BMP-1 leader, the slow, badly armored and 90-point leader unit. Fortunately, it's not the same as it was a couple of games ago when it has to traverse a long distance. But even then, just a few too many extra points.
Yeah, at the same time, P4 tries to come in the south. Legionnaire Para tried to find a shot onto the TADBVK, but not able to get there. Still rotating around. TADBVK now going on a safe distance. Trying to not get side-shotted there. Frontal hits. Oh my goodness, it actually gets hit pretty badly there. Those Legionnaire powers actually get the kill. That would be devastating for Medi. Down to 2 hit points, really stressed out. Down to 1 hit point and gone. So TADBVK stays alive. Could use some resupply though. And Medi, yeah, this time around needs to find the +4 a bit earlier than last time around. There is still time. Jig also not quite as far ahead in points. But yeah, the alpha point needs to go down eventually. It seems like Jig on a decent defensive position now in Oscar again after that great bombing run. But yeah, without AA really on the battlefield, so planes of Medi can do a lot of damage. SU-25 rocket coming in here. Only one Mistral.
Notably, the P4 of the northern town was destroyed after it accidentally drove into the Motoras Bedkas 80 range. And now there is no leader up north.
Yeah, SU-25 trying to rotate around. Medi getting the equalizer in the rear. Units moving towards Alpha already in the south. Sapericom Roddy currently without a transport. TADBVK leader damaged, so Medi not able to get anywhere just yet, but the SU-25 absolutely demolishing that infantry push there and getting a bit of damage onto the Gazelle hot at the same time. So yeah, those infantry units of Jig won't make it back into the town either, but Medi's units already on the way to Alpha. Transport for that Sapericom Roddy in the rear might be helpful, as yeah, getting that into Alpha would be quite nice. And the CV pushing a bit deeper in the north might be helpful as well. SU-25 AT, next unit to come around. But yeah, Jig's units here just all dying. No tick anymore going on, but Medi could use a capture here soon.
Yeah, with 10 minutes, it is absolutely doable at this point. When the airborne is so on its last legs, well, units-wise, the airborne can't really do counterattacks unless they hold the entry points into towns, and those entry points are very difficult to gain when your opponent has BMPs and tanks.
Yeah, Strela gets a hit against the Mirage. Mirage will get out. Mi-8 MT. Sitting around. We have a bit of a push trying to go through over the open from Jig. BMP1 gets killed off. BMP2 gets killed off, so there might be a sideline push here possible for Jig. Supply trucks for the CV finally coming in. CV rolling towards the south though is needed at some point here for Medi, and not investing into any or transporting any down there is a weird choice here, not gonna lie. Like, there we finally go. It's one more BMP1. It will take a while to get there. It should still just barely get there in time. Should have been bought 1 or 2 minutes ago.
Screening units have the BTR-60 and a Motostrelki used as screeners to basically control the resupply route or route off the back point of Alpha. So the Paramilan 2s and the Paramarine and the Gazelle Hot that were ordered there walked immediately or flew immediately into the machine gun of the BTR, and just another excellent example of how knowing these positions, knowing and having this sort of a routine of trying to exploit and gain a little bit more ground than what you are generally given can pay itself back amazingly. Now, likely one of those Paramilans getting killed maybe here.
Mirage getting a good kill though. SU-25 AT flying around in the north. A push into the north would be somewhat helpful in the long run as well. Another SU-24 HE coming around. Paramilan's getting shut down there. And yeah, we see the repair of the T-80 that actually potentially could push towards X-Ray once the BMP-1 gets towards Alpha. Sapericom Roddy not being used, I feel like still a mistake. In the north, we have the Puma once more trying to rotate in, but the BTR-60 this time completely blocking its path. So that Puma PC won't get in. Even with Canland for a split second, the BMP-1 will kill it off there. So not the second time around. But we have a TAD coming in again. We have planes on both sides again. Seed actually being a thing. BMP1 moving forward. SU-25 trying to come in with the kill. For the Paramarine. They take a lot of damage, but they don't quite go down. And the SU-25 not going for the fight against the Jaguar here is a mistake. SU-25 number 2 trying to do it with its gun, but that the AT actually has air-to-air missiles, so could use those to deal with that. Fires its air-to-air missile now after getting rid of the ARC, and we see a surrender here. And Maddie
On which side? I
game
think it's a...
number 3 and gets with that the W and the place back in Division 1 and the place in the semifinals. So yeah, well played here by Maddie. Calm and collected. Couple of engagements in the north that weren't perfect, but knowing that 39 has the late game, maybe a bit slow there in the late game there with the CVs moving around. They could have been a bit faster, but they still did the job, and Maddie is in the semifinal. And yep, 11th just collapsing in the late game. In ranked, they are frustrating. In ranked, you never have the perfect build against 11th, but I feel like in that's something that people expect to just exploit the same level in the league, when in the league, people who are actually kind of built to counter 11th, it's a lot easier to build to bully them on a map like this, where the tick is slow and you can just focus on winning the mid game and bullying them in the late game.
Yeah, I agree. The way to deal with deal with them or in the tournament is that you want to have specialized decks built or prepared to fight against airborne assaults, and I think that this 39th may have been one of those. 39th, as I understand, doesn't really get banned because it's even though it's a solid division, it's not it's not 27th. It's not one of the big ones. But so having this in your pocket in case the opponent picks and bans their least favorite opponent or opposing divisions and then get themselves a 11th airborne, and having this 39th counter deck seems to work. Seems to be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and yeah, that brings us to the end. We have one more quarterfinal that we will cover on another day here, with Chish against Proletary. So pretty interested in that one as well. With that said, though, we gonna drop out here for today. It's super hot. We need to get some refreshment here, guys. And yeah, hope to see you next time, though. Thanks for watching. It was amazing as always. Thanks for all the follows. Thanks for all the support here once more. And yeah, let's find somebody.
Thank you, everybody. I am going outside the second this stream starts. I need to leave the
Same
house.
thing. I need to get something cool going over my body after being way too long in the sweatiness here. We're gonna rate some Red Sun here, playing some lovely cards. So, yep, see you all next time around, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.